All right, so on May 23rd, we met. The minutes, anybody have any corrections, additions, deletions?
I did like the part about the bocce balls.
Can you believe that? What were you talking about?
I don't know.
I got a bocce set, a bocce
But,
sack,
yeah.
a bocce what?
I'll bet you it was a bocce set.
There probably is one correction that I should make to this. I think Kendra caught it.
She called me out on saying that the players shouldn't have padded benches. She said, and then she said she wanted to see if anyone read the details. Also, I think on the next date, I think was there some confusion? You said 20th/27th.
I didn't know what-
We decided
yes.
on the 20th.
Yes, okay. Because when you list, man, that was a
You went
long
back.
discussion,
Yeah,
And
on
I
what date
wasn't
we were
sure.
gonna have.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the only other thing I
Um,
noticed.
the 20th. Okay, the first one was right.
So with those two corrections, is there a motion to be had?
I'll make the motion.
Any second?
No second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes of the May 23rd meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Public comment. Martha, you're on. We should recap this so that it's on the record for future.
I just all of a sudden down at Brown's Court was a beautiful display of the plans for the court. It was absolutely gorgeous. So I said, where did this come from? And Tess just told me. Oh no, you just told me. Who put it up? I'm sorry. Your husband.
My husband, Mike Barnard.
He put it up. Well, and so it's gorgeous and it just is so catching. I can't believe. So I've not heard anything but positive comments about it, but I haven't been out a lot like I used to. So they have to come and knock on the door before I know.
Right. So what I think we're going to do, with the committee's approval, is put a bright colored pink or hot green or something to catch people's attention. To learn more about the park, please join us at a meeting with the select board on Monday, June 3rd, where the select board, may approve ARPA funding. So 7 p.m. Town Center, just, and to make sure that everyone knows about it. So if they have any questions, concerns, we've gotten a couple emails. People want a walking path around the outside to be 10 feet. Most areas we can accommodate that, but we can't on all areas. It's not quite 10 feet, but on most areas it's 10 feet, but definitely big enough for two people.
That'd be great.
I mean, nothing paved but just enough room so that they can walk and get exercise.
Walk the dog. It's become such a dog park now. Literally, since this conversation has come on about what goes on Brown's Court, walking by the window here is a parade of people walking their dogs. That's because they didn't know about it. I don't think anyone knew that there was even a park here, even a playground, anything here. No one knew about it. Now all of a sudden everybody does.
And just one other thing is that I think some people don't realize that the dogs have to be on leashes. So there will be a sign being put up that dogs must be on leashes.
Yeah.
Just, it's a safety thing too, Martha.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like it that there are more people aware of this. And I think we need to really make it known that you cannot just let your dog run loose around the park, because many people do. I shouldn't say many. There are a number of people who do. But I love it. I love it that people are coming up.
Good. Any other comments, questions, concerns that you have?
No, I don't.
All right. So do we want to discuss Jeannie's email first? What do you want to do? What's your pleasure?
Kara has something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a letter to read to you guys that came from your committee member, Mary LaFave. She asked me to stop by her place and pick it up. It was in a Ziploc sandwich bag to the door.
Before you go on,
Is this open public comment time?
yeah, I
for you
know,
still?
but,
Okay.
okay. Oh,
She just wanted you to, she just wanted me to read this to you, and I said I'd bring it and read it. That'd be fine. I picked it up at her place.
okay.
She says, "Dear committee members." Ooh, well, do you mind if I put my glasses on?
Go for it.
Sorry. You think you can do it, but you can't do it anymore.
She couldn't be here tonight?
No, she's working.
She couldn't join us by Zoom?
Her
She's
work starts
working.
at 6.
She's at the hospital working. And she says that in here, I think. Dear committee members, I apologize for my absence as my new work schedule has me working 12-hour night shifts at UVM Medical Center. I am so happy to hear about the continued progress this committee is making for our community. I'd like my voice to be heard regarding the plans for our town. I signed up for this committee to represent those individuals who often get overlooked, children, young adults, and adults with disabilities, or like us nurses like to say, special abilities. Those who have limited mobility, who are medically fragile, and who may need complete care as they are wheelchair and bed bound. They may have had these medical issues from birth, have been injured in an automobile accident or some sort of accident and suffered a traumatic spinal injury. Maybe they have suffered from a stroke or have a newly diagnosed brain tumor that has left them with cognitive disabilities, as well as leaving them with mobility and range of motion limitations. I want to be the voice for these that don't have one. A person with cognitive, I'm sorry, I didn't read this ahead of time. A person with cognitive and physical limitations who is wheelchair bound and dependent on others for their quality of life. Those individuals have a much smaller world and view than the rest of us. Most of the time they have to view life from the sidelines. They can't participate and they have limited choices. Even the activities they can participate in are a challenge and made more difficult because they are not accessible. Every single one of us is so blessed. We can walk anywhere, hike, play pickleball, basketball, use all the facilities easily, even park effortlessly, and get out of your vehicle with ease. Someone in a wheelchair with the added disability of cognitive impairment from a neurological and I can't read that word, sorry, cannot. Parking is an obstacle. Getting to their destination with ease and having an accessible activity to do with their family feels impossible. As a healthy group of people of minds that function without limitations and bodies that have no physical limitations, we have a moral obligation to look after these individuals and to advocate for them. We need the walking path so that they can move, be outside, enjoy nature and our beautiful surroundings, get fresh air, be out of their homes and engage with their community. We need a safe place for people of all ages and mobility to use, a place that is safe for someone to push a wheelchair, for someone to walk with a walker or a cane safely. We have to give all people of all mobility levels a place to walk and move and engage and to be active. It is a priority. I do not support the construction of the bocce court. A person of cognitive limitations and range of motion limitations cannot even utilize this type of activity. They can't even hold the ball and throw it. I understand that you would make it accessible to get to, but I challenge you to think beyond the individual who is cognitively fine, has no limitations, but does have mobility issues, and think about those individuals who cannot, for whatever reason, hold the ball and throw. They have a cognitive disability and a range of motion of voluntary movement limitations as well. If we have a pickleball, basketball, softball, and little league fields, then we have plenty of options for individuals with no health limitations. I think we should take the money and invest in accessible swings. We shouldn't have just one. We need to be inclusive and we should have several, as many as we have for healthy children with no limitations. A handicapped child in a wheelchair can't climb stairs to use a slide, climb a climbing wall, and they can't use monkey bars. They can only use a swing. What a small world that is for a handicapped child. We have an obligation to make it bigger and better. Please use the money that you would use for a bocce ball court and add more swings or other types of activities that someone who has cognitive impairments and voluntary movement limitations and who is in a wheelchair can use. I plead with this community to think about those individuals who are so vulnerable and who are often overlooked. You may think that this population of individuals is smaller and few. You may be correct, but here are some hard truths. Number one, they are out there, but they are overlooked and they are housebound because of lack of engaging accessible activities. Number two, in a blink of an eye, a traumatic event like a car accident, fall, skiing, or biking injury can leave any one of us with a traumatic brain/spinal cord injury that leaves us with cognitive and physical limitations. Number three, a diagnosis of a brain tumor or other cancer could leave you unable to walk and purposefully move your arms and could leave you with a cognitive impairment. If any of these things happen to you or your children or grandchildren, what would you want your Richmond community to look like to give you a quality of life? Thank you, Mary LaFace.
Can I have the letter, please,
You're
for the
gonna
record?
be, yes, yeah, you're gonna
Thank you.
keep the whole thing.
And we're just gonna submit it into the record.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. All right, so would we like to discuss Jeannie's letter that came to us?
Yeah, it was
Do you
just
wanna
to
explain
try
it?
to way to
No.
put it into some,
It
because
was
I
very
left that
thought-provoking
day and
list.
I just, I just guess this was just a thought of where we could go from here
Mhm.
and how we could maybe present both park ideas without just more as saying we want to update. Fran's feedback was maybe he was saying that we're updating the select board as to what we've done so far. But I don't know. I just was trying to outline what could be done, like what's something we'd want to have done immediately. What could we wait for when we know what our expenditures are and if we come in at or under budget, and then what we could do if we get like the additional funding you were talking about. And so these were just random, believe me. I didn't pick and choose really. I just,
I mean,
well, I mean, I did a little bit, but
It was very thought-provoking though, and it was a different way to present to the select board. I mean, no matter what, I mean, we've done the homework, we've done the research, no matter what we decide or what we recommend, the ultimate decision is the select board.
right. And I, when we talked about whether to present all three at once or not, I understood that this was how we were going to do it, just to say, here's a few things you can get a bid on right now, but we can't go anywhere until we know what we're spending at Volunteers Green.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, we all know the costs are going to go way up. I mean, they already have from the bids that we have, and we don't know what all we're going to even do there.
I mean, you can make a huge dent. I mean, in my opinion, with $300,000 there. It's, I mean, it's
Yeah,
a
but
huge dent.
what if we need $500,000 just for
Mhm.
two things? You
And
know, I
then,
just,
is it a bond vote? Is it grant
if we go
money?
over the,
If you went over, I mean, hypothetically, the select board could decide this is a great project and let's go out to bid. Let's have the town decide whether they want to do this or not. Do they want to do a new band shell or a new pavilion with handicap accessible bathrooms? And, you know, do they want to do that?
should we not have us work a Volunteers Green?
Oh, no, no, no. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
There, down
Well,
there.
Yeah.
And
I
you
just
do
think
the
of
whole
the
package
three
together.
parks, that is a big, yeah, do the all three together,
Right.
not
You know, do
really
the pavilion,
present.
do the playground, do the fence,
Oh, I'm saying all three parks
Yeah.
together.
or
Okay.
all three parks together. Or you could show them now.
Yeah. Right, we could, that's what I was thinking, we could still present the whole thing, but after the presentation, if you want to get started on anything now, you could
Here are
do
the numbers.
A.
Right.
Save B for a while and then do C if we
Right.
have enough money left over.
Tess.
I was looking at the numbers and I'm looking at
The
the
nu- so
Round
these ones-
Church.
So her numbers that she had was from the previous Excel, and then we did different numbers when we were in the meeting. So
Okay.
these numbers up here are reflective of any of the numbers we updated
Oh,
That-
okay.
at the last
The
meeting, because she had the
28th.
Excel from before that.
But I'm still looking like at the wrong church. And it seems like there isn't that much money there.
There isn't.
So maybe on our June 3rd meeting, maybe we propose to them that they get the round church done. It's ready. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like it's a huge amount of
yeah.
money. That's
And
just my thought.
Fran says that the Christmas tree can come off. She just sent this today. That the, whatever tree she was hoping to get is in, and the Historical Society will pay for it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I
So-
think we should note that though, Kendra, on the thing that Historical Society is footing the bill on that. Anybody on the committee have comments before we move to,
I'll just say,
okay,
go ahead. Question. I was just gonna say, I personally liked this as an alternative. I agree with, obviously, said it last time. I don't agree with having the bocce ball be included in the initial plan that we're presenting. And I think this is a way that you could potentially do it and say, really, phase 1 and phase 2 are our definites, and phase 3 is still to be determined based on the costing of volunteer screen. How we want to break out those phases can still be discussed, in my opinion, but.
My question is, and I can't see from where I'm at, you guys might not see. My question is, and I haven't read over your all stuff, so this is for the public to know and not have to read through your stuff too. I agree, the Brown Church, check that box, it seems like really realistic. And the Browns Court, it seems like you have a lot already there that you all agree to. What is it, like phase 1, phase 2, what is it that you definitely 100% all think it needs and you agree to? Is what I want. Can you go down through that list of?
My under-
That's what we were hoping.
yeah,
to talk
my
about tonight.
understanding-
That's what we were.
my understanding is that, and correct me if I'm incorrect, my understanding is that everyone agrees, get the round church park done. It's a small amount of money based on the 450. Everything's all ready to go, and let's get it done. And that's not even a question. When we get to Brown's Court, there are a couple people that don't want bocce ball courts.
Is there anything else that they don't want?
Not that I'm aware of.
So can you just go through the list of, you've got 4
Well,
pickleball, thank you.
that's what she, yeah.
Thank you. Pickleball courts, softball field repairs, repaired gravel parking lot, benches, picnic tables, cedar trees, bike rack, water fountain.
It's not a water fountain, it's water spigots now.
Okay. What, can you tell me what the difference is? I'm sorry, I don't know.
The fountain is a beautiful, it's right there on the left. Can you? Oh, that's not it. Sorry, I thought it was.
No.
Oh.
Hold on. I have
It was a water fountain where dogs could get their water in the bottom, people could get the water in the top, and then it was also big enough that you could fill a water bottle.
And it doesn't have any freezing things or anything like that?
It was $4,000 because it was available so it wouldn't freeze. But the more we looked at it, it could get damaged by youth. So we went to just spigots so that we can have locking box. See right there on the right. So we kind of deleted that.
Okay, but you're still having some water source.
Yeah,
So they could
just a
like-
spigot
you
that
could
locks.
Bring a little portable bowl for their dog.
No, it would be locked, so only people who have access to the lock.
Like the coaches would,
Because it would only be then used for the pickleball
Hoses.
courts and
yeah,
baseball.
they'll have to bring their
or
own
softball.
water.
So would it not be able to be unlocked during the summer
Oh.
months and then lock
Well,
it for the
They're worried
winter
about
freezing months?
People like leaving it running and like,
Oh,
flooding
running up a
things.
water bill. Oh, I
and
gotcha.
flooding the space and depending on the
Gotcha.
water.
Can you go back to the other frame? I just want to make sure you don't have any other questions before we move on.
Thank you. No, this is very helpful. So the only thing on this list that you guys are questioning is the bocce ball.
Correct.
What's the
I-
cost? What's the cost
Well-
of that?
No, go ahead. If,
Is there
I was
other?
gonna say that's exactly what I think we're trying to figure out, because
Right
I
now.
had exactly up there that what Kendra just had up. Phase 1 could be this, phase 2 could be this,
Okay, so you
phase
do
three
it,
could
do you
That's-
basically do a line?
that was
Okay.
just me. And that's what we're talking about right now.
she was just brainstorming after
Yeah,
our
I'm
meeting
just
last
trying to
time.
Figure out how we could, because I'm really concerned that we won't have enough money to do what we want at Volunteers Green. And I think we can't, say, I mean, we have $500,000, which sounds like a lot of money, but
400,
Yeah.
550.
Okay,
550.
field
550.
work. Oh, that's
But-
my part one, part two, that's where I was confused.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we have
You could call it
550,000.
No, but I'm thinking field, different things, sorry, my mind went in the wrong place. That's-
It's like first work
Yes.
on the softball field
So
and then like,
those two first boxes are,
see, these are the
phase
phases.
one.
Phase one is all the way across like this.
okay.
Phase two,
Oh,
phase three.
I'm looking at the list.
And then this is round church and costs.
Gosh.
Rounds cost total for the across for the two.
The parking lot is phase two though for the Browns Court?
This is just, it was my
We should take it down.
proposal
We should
Okay.
take
to
it
talk
down.
about how we could prioritize.
No, I
It
agree.
was
I
just
think
an
that's a great
idea because we
idea.
were sort of stuck last
She was
time.
just
So I
brainstorming.
was just trying to get some ideas of how we could possibly figure out what's,
No, great idea. I just wanted to make sure I understood your.
yeah, and it can be any kind of format. This was just what I could.
Megan, do you have any comments?
No, I'm just
You're
following
just-
through.
Just sitting
Just
here,
listening.
Tess?
No, I mean,
Okay.
we'll have to
And
discuss.
one other
like what should
point
be.
to the letter that you read, and correct me if I
Yep.
incorrectly heard the testimony regarding bocce, but there are many handicapped people and elderly people that play bocce sitting in wheelchairs.
That's not my letter, so.
Okay,
I'm not-
well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so if you, when you talk to
she'll
her,
watch it.
yeah, when you
Yeah.
talk to her, when you talk to Mary, let her know that we were told, is that
I
correct?
think she was expressing in her letter the concept of a further form of disability where you are not just wheelchair bound, but don't have the
Right.
ability to grip and move
Move,
yeah.
and such like
Or
that. So it's
cognitive
not that
thinking.
all
Mhm.
Right,
can or can't. I think it's a concept of
combination.
that some still cannot. Some still cannot do this. And that a path, they would be able to be walked in their wheelchair along a paved path, I think is what she was trying to express in her letter, is my
Yeah, not that you
reading
can't
of
have.
it. Not that
Yeah.
some can't
Yep.
use bocce.
Okay,
That's how I heard it too.
so I think I think we're good on all around church. Should we take a vote and just,
On Round
We
Church?
voted
On
on
the-
all around church.
so around,
That's already been
with Fran,
passed.
that's done?
We did that last week.
Okay, so up at Brown's
Now it's
Court,
less $900 that Fran
the
got.
Fran,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that'll need to be adjusted in
Yeah,
those
yeah.
spreadsheets.
Mhm.
And now regarding Brown's Court. So 2 people want to take bocce out, 3 people? 3,
I don't want to take bocce out. I just don't want to
Make it a priority.
make it a priority right now. Hopefully we'll have enough money to do it. I think bocce is a great thing. I just don't think we have, until we know what we're going to spend at Volunteer Green, I just don't think we can.
how would the
Okay.
committee feel if we presented Brown's Court in its entirety? And then as a subsection, say, we also, or maybe we say, we have bocce courts in there. We want to make sure we have enough money at Volunteers Green and that we would love your direction. We've done the quotes. We've gotten all the information. We're ready to go if that's what your wish is. But let them take some ownership too. Or do they think, and let them know that we struggled as a committee, which is good because you don't want all like-minded people sitting around this table.
What was the cost of that, Denise? I didn't know.
Do you want to put that up?
The total
So-
cost is $33,632. Current.
That's just one. Yeah.
Estimate?
No, we've gotten 3.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, I was thinking if we pick, I think I absolutely present the whole thing. Here's what we want to do. But right now we're suggesting that until we figure out what our expenses are for Volunteer Green, we don't want you to implement this. We're not recommending that you implement this whole thing right now. Here are a couple of things that you could,
yep, and then,
because
so that's where we're in a quandary because 3 want it, 3 don't. Well,
is it wanted or don't want
What-
it, or figuring
or
out how we want to.
questioning
Yeah,
the li-
yeah,
the
yeah.
validity
It's
of that.
more, yeah, it's,
Is there any, Miss, I don't even know if I should call you first name or not, because I'm so used to calling.
oh,
you.
I'm Jeannie.
I
I know.
know.
See these kids.
Is there anything else or is it just the bocce ball that you want them to phase in? And that's, I mean, I'm just trying to calculate numbers with.
I
you.
had,
I'm a numbers
this is, again, this is just really, really rough, but but out of the total expense of, Volunteers Green, or I mean, Browns Court, I thought that we could, the few things I looked at, phase one, $140,000, $700. Phase two was $33,000. And then phase four was $67,000 of just the random.
Numbers ended up
This isn't
slightly different. Yeah,
prioritized.
so
Yeah.
Yes,
because
and I
like
had
the
a
parking
few-
lot was the smaller parking lot number
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, I
So-
think,
Right,
you
I
and
ended
this
up
was
think,
just how I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
not deciding what needed to be first, second,
Right,
and third.
right, right,
I was
right.
just trying to
Okay, so
figure out a plan,
benches, picnic tables.
but not that we have to do it.
so how would you
those
feel
items.
if we presented Browns Court with like a subset of bocce? Present it as a whole with bocce as an option, a second option.
With bocce, the field work, the extra field work, the storage shed, the benches, the kiosks. I just think we don't. I mean, you could certainly, if you really want bocce, think about how much money
I
how
think,
much money do we want to reserve for Volunteers Green is basically.
Yeah,
The
that's-
question is, how much do we think we need?
300,000.
See, I don't
No.
think we, a
I
playground
disagree.
is gonna cost that much alone.
Well,
I
we've
am
got a quote
sure.
for 200,000
Yes,
without
a.
a
And it's in a different,
fence.
right?
It's a different
And,
space. It needs different prep work.
Yeah, and it's.
Yeah.
Lighting, will have to be changed. I mean, and we don't know that we don't know what the community is gonna say about the band shell and.
So I would
or do
change
we-
the playground to 200 because that's the quote we got.
This was including the fencing when we
Yeah, and
talked
that
about
didn't
this
include
last
Oh.
time.
swing sets, that didn't
Okay.
include,
You didn't include the swing sets or any.
Mhm.
no, because we had talked about keeping some there. We didn't include the sandbox that was there before.
Not the huge-
Because that site was a different site. And
Right.
one of the swing set frames could stay, and it still could, but we didn't have anything for younger kids. And I just don't know, I mean, that site's gonna require a different kind of a setup and a different kind of a quote.
What was
I
the
think.
additional field work at Browns Court? You just said additional field work.
Well, we're talking about the softball field.
Yeah.
How much
Where-
He
money,
broke it out into
we would
different parts of like.
give them some money to.
He wanted
fix
more
board the
than
court
we
right
were
now.
willing to give him.
How much did you put in it to give him?
30.
30?
Well, because.
Hold on, where's that?
30, and then the fence work and the benches we put separate,
Can
or
you-
at least.
Do you mind going back to your document? I'm sorry.
No, it's
I
all right.
just-
This wasn't any, this
Yeah.
was really, I'm not taking ownership.
Oh,
of
no,
this.
no, 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 I
I'm only
understand.
saying this was just a
A
way to look
different way
at
to
it.
look at
I'm
it
not-
thing.
I'm not,
Yeah,
So it was the 35 was what he asked for, 30,000 for the field itself, 5,000 for some fencing work, and then we had done benches of 2,000.
So are you giving the full 30 for the field work? Is that in phase one is what you're thinking? Or?
well, we're not, don't talk about
Yeah.
phases.
Okay.
yeah, don't, this was, don't
So I'll
think
read
of
Yeah,
that
don't talk
as
about
a.
phases.
So what are you?
So we're not sure. It's been, and I hate to say this word, but that field has been neglected for so many years.
Correct. So that's my priority
So-
is us fixing what we already have before we build new stuff.
Right.
So if you're gonna spend $100,000 on pickleball courts, but you won't bring the softball field up to specs, then I have a problem with that. I'm
Brings
just giving an
us,
Yeah,
example. in my
no,
out loud.
he can do it, but he may have to do it in phases. I
and
mean,
there might not be the benches and the fence doesn't have to be replaced right now, but it's got
Yeah,
some
I'm just
problems.
talking the field
Yeah,
work
that's-
itself,
yeah,
because
that's
you're
what that
supposed to
is.
remove all that sod and it's supposed to be a play
Yeah.
field. You're supposed to put it to a softball standard level field.
Yeah, that's the quotes that we.
Right.
Beautiful. So when you said field work, I just wasn't sure what you meant. I mean, like, are you?
oh, it's
doing
field
it or
work
not?
includes fences and blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
So, but
I didn't care about the fence.
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
And the
I'm
land
sure
was
the field
originally
is-
donated for baseball, softball.
Mhm.
correct.
So I think that should be
Correct.
very honored.
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate that.
So what do you guys think if we presented everything but the bocce?
I still think we would have the bocce court in there, but just that. Well,
Maybe
unless
we
you're
wait.
thinking that's the only thing that you want them to wait on. See,
I just think that we need, you know,
okay, well, here's a
as a
question.
taskmaster,
Yeah,
let's get it done.
no, here's a question. You
Okay.
keep saying there's extra money to
Right.
do a playground or the band show.
Right.
Can that be extra money that instead is for the bocce court and the pickleball court and anything there?
I was saying, wait for the extra money until Volunteers Green, we get an answer yay or nay, and all the work is done. And we get the red light to proceed. And maybe the select board Monday night will have information for us. I don't even know if Virginia's committee has met yet.
They were supposed to meet, I think, today, but it was canceled.
That was transportation.
Transportation.
Okay.
That was transportation. So,
I really want you guys to move forward and to make some recommendation for Browns Court. I think it's important that you do, and whether you limit yourself to a first round budget, that's understandable. But I really want you to take your top things that you think should be completed and started at least now, and then you can have some add-ons when you know how you want to spend the rest of your budget. But I think there's some sweet things that, I mean, you can present the whole thing as a full, and this is our plan out, you know, because they make you do a master plan for when you're doing a development. So here's your master plan, but here's what you really want them to focus on and go out to bid right away.
now, so you make very good points. You make very good points. No, seriously, what if we did this? What if we presented it as a whole? And after we're done, I mean, we as individuals, we pay taxes in this town, we all get a voice. What if we said we would like to share our personal feelings, not committee feelings with you now?
That's a mixed message.
Because I think that our job, we should
Well,
look
we're
at
gonna
what we
make
were tasked to do.
recommendations.
Yes. To
But
stay within that
I feel like
budget.
it's inappropriate for us to bring our disagreement in front
Yeah,
of them. We were
yeah.
tasked with coming to agreements as a committee and presenting it once come to an agreement. So if we're not able to make an agreement on what we're presenting, then maybe we shouldn't be presenting. And that's not the solution I want, to be clear. But I don't think it's appropriate to bring to them and be like, Mom and Dad, we can't make an agreement, so can you make it for us? That's just how I feel about that.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're gonna break it down into phases, what do we really need? We need a softball field, pickleball courts, and a parking lot.
That's a must-have.
Would you guys be willing to come to agreement if bocce was out of there?
Well, I think I agree with what Megan just said. What do we absolutely positively, want to do right now? And those are some givens. These are 4 or
And we-
5 things that you could start right now. You can get the bids on, but we're,
That's just shy of
Just-
200,000. Those three numbers.
uh,
197, 100. So that brings off
I
about.
don't know, what are you thinking,
50,000.
Kara? Oh, Kara, geez, Kendra. I mean,
I think I would feel more comfortable if that's what we were presenting. Because I feel like we're putting ourselves in a bad position for Volunteers Green that will only result in disappointment with the level of new recreation we provided to certain groups and excluded others. Especially if we can't do, we're talking about moving the playground. If we can't do all of it, if we need to move the playground and tear down the band shell and we can't put up a new structure, that's really going to make some people mad. Because now you're taking away the one structure that was there that was used for farmers markets and the band and all of these things, and you didn't replace it. So I just think if it puts us in a bad position for the other park. And I think this has always been the struggle with presenting 2 of the parks without the third, is my understanding was we would have a more solid rough numbers on the back of the envelope for Volunteers Green, at least when we walked into that presentation, to say, here's what the $550,000 is going to equate to. If we present it as this full thing, or even just without the box, creates a level of squish that then we're going to kind of be playing catch up or finding other money or all of this other stuff that we weren't really tasked with.
See, I want to be really clear that I want everything that we have in the plan.
Right.
I would like to see everything that we have in the plan. I don't think we need to eliminate bocce court in our plan. Just that if we don't have enough money, is that something that we put on hold, or that we say, you got get some volunteers to build this, or whatever it might be? Like, we've done all the work. Maybe somebody.
Do you think
my
that's a
rich
fair
uncle's gonna
question
show
for
up.
a select board? What you just said?
What do you mean? What's a fair question? To
Do
say
you
we won't
think
want to do
that's-
A, B, or wait?
You just
wait.
said you want to do everything, but
Yes.
do you think that's a fair question to ask the select board?
No, I'm not. I'm telling you that I would like to see all of these things in the plan. I just don't think until we know exactly what, we're spending at Volunteers Green, I don't think we could do that. And that's why I'm saying we could say, go for these right now.
Yeah, here's what we
these.
need, here's,
Yeah.
and let us get acclimated or figure out what we want at Volunteers Green or what's going to be happening. And then, this phase could go in, but this right now is what we propose that we need to upgrade this park is pickleball, parking lot, and softball field.
Mhm.
Like I'd love to see all of that stuff go in there too. But at the same time, I'm reserved from voting on all of that stuff because I personally am, well, I know a lot more people are vested in Volunteers Green, not just me. There's so many people that go to Volunteers Green.
I think there are
That
people
is
in
our
this town
town
who don't
center.
even know Browns
I
Court
think,
exists.
I think just what Martha said earlier, they didn't even know it was there.
I want to add one other thing before. The other thing that came up in my head was just the reminder that the bocce balls that started with Tanner and stuff, they had a club that initially sponsored them and paid for it, and then they maintained it and such. And so it's like, well, to some extent, isn't that what we're using as our benchmark, is that Burlington has this bocce court, but they had a club who sponsored it and paid for it and maintains it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of seems like if then there's enough interest in that a club could be started up and do the same thing, and you could be earmarking a space for it.
I think the city pays for it. The city of Burlington pays for it through their recreation program,
That's not what
but
he
they
said
pay
when he presented.
dues.
Yeah, I got mixed stories. To say the
Both of
least,
them?
to say the least. Here's what I think I figured out. I think that they started off with 2 bocce courts that I think that the city paid for. And then a group of people started to form this club. They wanted 2 additional, bocce courts. I think that they did some fundraising. This was back in, 2014, I want to say. And I think that they did fundraise quite a bit of money. And I think that they paid, I want to say maybe half of the cost. And I think the city picked up the rest. It also started off when these 2 courts came in, that the bocce club, because they were doing tournaments, they were getting money from the
Mhm.
tournaments. And that's what they were using for, their yearly maintenance, like the stone and stuff. I found out too that they're trying to get away from that. They're trying to have Burlington pick it up. There are certain things, like everybody says, get volunteers.
Mhm.
But the hardest part, and they confirmed it, I said, when you have the stone brought in, I said, do you have it delivered? Do you have trucks go down and pick it up? Well, it turns out that originally they did have volunteers go and pick it up, and then realized this is logistically, it's difficult to
Mhm.
coordinate.
The one recommendation I have, Megan, I know you listed 3 things, is to add a 4th. And the 4th thing I think you should add and consider in phase 1 is the $3,500 for the cedar trees to help for the community that you're going to now be bringing people in the neighborhood. reduces the noise, reduces the issues for potentially the neighbors. I thought that's the purpose of them, correct?
Mhm.
Is to create that, and so they're gonna need time to grow and.
I totally
mature.
agree with that. Yeah, I was
So I
just
think-
going with the,
I think those.
that makes sense.
three-
I didn't even
Brown's
think of the
Court.
cedar trees, but
But-
it gives them time to establish their
Yeah.
growth for other future projects at the park.
Correct. And then my next comment is the pickleball
If
courts
we take
are-
pickleball
are
out, what is it?
were originally coming in, and it was the older generation that was requesting that. And I'm the one who, listen, I started this plan with 2 of them, so the fact that you guys are going 4 of them, all the power to you. But my
I'm sorry.
concern
Can we
is,
see it?
you've got nothing
So
in
that's without
all of
pickleball.
these
I mean,
plans
without.
that are truly
bocce.
designed for
take
that
out
teenage
pickleball.
age group. And to now invest for 4 courts, and I know younger kids are gonna be playing it. That's not where we're at right now at this moment.
Not this late.
And now you're putting bocce ball. It seems like you're tailoring to a certain age group and you're eliminating some. I'm not pushing for the basketball court anymore. That is one that I was pushing for. I'm not here to say put a basketball court instead of a bocce ball court. I think, I agree with you. Please hold off on that to make sure that you're taking care of volunteer green for a larger age group to cover.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we had discussed last week, or at one of the last
Yeah.
meetings. is-
As
And-
far as,
Okay, go ahead.
as far as the pickleball courts and the older generation, Mike and I introduced it to the senior community center, and we have been amazed at how it has taken off.
And they tend to bring their own chair. The-
Yeah,
the folding chairs they
we bring our own chair. Martha kindly has made sure the senior community center has always provided us with nets. We have balls. I'm not sure that the community understands that the senior group, I think, is covered. What I would like to see, it's for the younger people. From reading the things from surveys and what I'm seeing personally, I play not only with the Richmond Huntington group, but I also play with a group from Colchester. And over the years, I've seen a younger and younger crowd
For pickleball.
for pickleball.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I agree. So that's why 4 courts is even better.
Yeah,
But I'm just concerned that that might go to potentially what June's saying.
Yeah.
For a larger project,
the pickleball court or bocce ball?
a bocce ball course money
Yes.
needs to be held for
That's
a
what-
larger project potentially. And then that's the icing on the cake if you have the funds left over to do that. But if you bring it to the select board and say, here's this whole park, they're gonna say, like, why aren't we just doing this whole park, making our life easier? When that's not gonna stretch your money somewhere else where you need it, and then they're gonna say, well, you didn't plan ahead. This is now your fault because you didn't plan ahead.
Okay, ladies, I have a
That's
proposal.
exactly my concern. Yeah.
What if we make them, what if we take out everything to do with pickleball? Which is 33,632.
bocce ball.
Bocce
I'm
ball.
sorry, bocce ball, sorry.
I'm going, wait,
Sorry.
where is this coming from?
No.
I got up way too early this
No.
morning. What if we take out everything to do with bocce, which is $33,632, leave everything intact for Brown's Court, get that much done. And then that would leave us for Volunteers Green now $324,864. So our total Brown's Court package would be $214,162. So we would be doing everything we have on here except anything to do with bocce. And we would present that, like I said, we could be sitting here and making all these decisions tonight. And when we get to the table on Monday night, June 3rd, when we sit there, the 5 of us, it could be all different. Or hopefully the 6 of us.
So I'm just curious, why would you not want to suggest that? Like there's phase 1 and phase 2. And this is just.
Well,
asking
I
everybody.
think phase 2 would be the bocce courts at Brown's
Only
Court.
that, That's, yeah.
That's the only thing
I'm
left.
just afraid, I wish we knew what Volunteers Green was gonna cost, but I would want us to give a bigger cushion.
What if we
Is my thought.
compromise on benches and tables?
But you have all those
What's the
people
difference?
up
What's the
there.
price
Wouldn't it,
What's the price difference, Steve? Just do
14.
you- $14,000 difference between what you want to hold for volunteer screen and
No,
what she
no,
wants.
no,
to-
no. She,
That's why I want to know what's
the difference between what we're taking, if we went to Megan's where
The
we left
four.
the 4 in, and what Denise is suggesting is 14,000.
Everything else. yeah.
Megan.
See, I would
added
rather
the
say that
3,500
Megan's
you add
phase
there.
one.
Okay, so $14,000 difference.
But you need the spigots. I know it sounds crazy, but you need the water source. You need the spigots because you have to have those for that. You need the cedar trees for the sound
That's already
abatement
in
that
place.
we have already promised
You
the
need the
neighbors.
tables and the chairs.
And you need the tables and the chairs. You've got a table up there and they can bring wheelchairs up to them. People
Yeah, but they
can,
don't, that's
Why do you
something that could, tables, benches.
Those are all portable.
The
If you're,
storage, there's one crappy storage shed there that
yeah, we could use the,
we
I
could
mean,
wait for the new,
but that-
you know.
we don't
those are
own that
things.
crappy storage shed.
I know. I'm just-
Would this make you guys feel better? The $14,000, that's your difference. I'm not going for the bocce ball, but the $14,000, that is the difference. It's not something worth you guys really pushing for, because I know if you're $14,000 short on volunteer screening, I will know where to find the money, and I will guarantee that to you right
And I'm
now.
saying the same thing right now too.
know.
you're probably
That's not a
sitting on the
guarantee.
same
Your
thing.
money.
I know you say
Conservation.
that.
And I will.
No,
Nope. Nope. I'm on the
So,
town center committee.
What do you guys think? And then we can be done with it. We can present it and hopefully that it goes through.
I think you should list the ones that Jeannie's concerned about. That she says if they don't want to spend that much there, that $14,000 item,
It's not even if they don't want to spend that much. Do we want to,
Earmark that much
yeah,
right now.
earmark that more and not
Because
have that
you
to,
could wait, Denise.
do.
It isn't like you, it's
So how,
3 months from now, if you know about volunteer screen, you can up Brown's
It's not
Court.
going to be 3 months.
to go back to Jeannie's original with the right numbers, that includes your water spigot with the locks in the phase 1 and phase 2.
Well, it's not
So it puts
mine.
us at-
To make the pickleball
So,
go, you have to
you were
have
saying,
water.
I
Oh, you-
I
no, a
apologize.
spigot you need.
Right.
spigot.
And you need where they can
You
put the
need-
hoses
You
in.
need hoses, yeah.
And hoses. And so that brings us, that number, the combine of phase 1 and phase 2 is $202,071.
And that leaves out what for phase 3, Kendra?
Bocce, some of the field work on the softball field, storage shed,
But
the pads underneath benches and tables that we're not doing right
And under
now,
the storage shed too.
and under the storage shed pad, water fountains, bike racks, picnic tables.
the storage shed though, for pickleball, the nets do have to come down
But those have to be stored annually.
for the,
I think that there's spaces in the existing volunteers green concession stands that they could be stored in over the
could it
winter.
be stored, do they use?
And
it?
maybe the baseball would let us store them in there,
Right,
maybe.
over the winter. It's once a year, right?
Yeah,
So I think there's alternative sources. Ideally, they'd have,
someplace to go.
right? Is my, again, just my personal. So I think the 202,000 leaves us with
I don't want to belabor the point, but I just wanted to remind people that
347,000.
one of the reasons why I think bocce ball was brought up, it's because we do have some senior people who aren't quite as mobile for a game like pickleball. So I think that that's just important to remind people.
And
Martha,
to
can
I
remind people.
also think that was one of the things that the Recreation Committee had been working on. They had volunteers who were ready to put it in, but they just hadn't gone through zoning.
Yeah.
And maybe those volunteers are still there, but
Martha, do you have any thoughts on the bocce?
Yes, I have, I have everything. We want bocce, we want pickleball. Yeah, I think it is what Tess just said, that it's something that older seniors like me, as I gradually go through this aging process, I can't play pickleball anymore, but I think I could play bocce. I think that that's absolutely accurate, that was why. And we have several, I mean, I'm not sure how many people are here in Richmond and Huntington and Bolton, but there's certainly a number of people who would like to have bocce here.
right. But I would.
How many, I'm asking you questions off the top of your head. How many people are part of the Richmond, Bolton, Huntington Senior Center. Do you have a number? How many total?
Yeah, it's hard to actually pin it because we don't have membership. We have a mailing list.
I
That
gotcha.
asks for the newsletter. The mailing list is over 900 now. But if you can also look at how many people actually open it up every week. And that's, but this, can't really count this, but it's over half. So
Wow.
over 450 are looking at it every week.
How many are Richmond?
Do you have it broken down to communities like Richmond? Can you tell from the list?
We can't because it's just, we just record the email addresses, but
Right. Okay.
that I think it's probably based on what the populations are. I think that's pretty accurate, that we have so many people in Richmond, so many people in Huntington, so many people in Bolton, just based on populations as they are right now. I think that's a pretty safe way of estimating.
All right. Thank you.
Jeannie, did you talk to Fran about your list? You mentioned something about Fran.
Yeah, well, she sent let me see my.
I like your idea. I like
Yeah,
your
she
numbers.
said, I like your approach. Thanks for putting it together for discussion. Maybe this becomes an update to the select board and not asking them to move forward yet. Then she said, remove the Christmas tree. She had a notification from Horsford that they now have the variety she wanted and they'll plant it soon and RHS will pay for it. She said, I will check in with someone on the committee at the end of the week when I'm home, and then
I
they have guests and who they're going.
strongly recommend that you do not make this an update to the select board, that you actually have some action items for them to take. Around church is one of them, and I strongly recommend you have phase 1 request. They want to make some decisions. You got a select board that want to move some things along and make it go out to bid, because what they're talking about doing is putting all this money in a reserve account, putting it on the ballot maybe in November to do so, or having a special meeting in November to do so. And once it goes into that reserve account.
Okay. So
Well, I thought it was that if it was ARPA funds, that it was a special
it is a
reserve.
separate,
That's- but
special,
it's a
separate
separate
account.
but-
Yeah, but you can use
It
this
is.
for anything.
The
Get it
select board can
earmarked.
make any decision, but
Get it earmarked.
if it'll be earmarked ARPA money.
No, get it earmarked, your 3 parks money. That's.
Well,
where it's
hopefully
going.
we'll have it all figured out and I mean, our goal was to have it totally, the whole plan by October. I mean,
They're
that's our-
working, just so that you guys know, they're working legalese right now with the attorneys, the auditors, and Vermont League of Cities and Towns to come up with verbiage to make sure that it's legal, that we take the ARPA money and we dump it into special accounts. So they're just coming out with the verbiage. The woman at Vermont League of Cities and Town, Katie Buckley, has been amazing. And so it's getting close, and it may be done by now. I don't even know,
So it's
but just to protect those funds.
$14,000 difference
So
between the
should we do that?
tables
Yeah.
and the chairs or the benches.
I think we also add, like Denise is saying, spigot, that results, if we then go back to like how Jeannie kind of broke it out, where she took not all of the stuff for the softball, but the softball field itself. I like that idea in this first round.
I kind of like the softball field itself. And if we're gonna go that far,
Put benches in for the players.
put the benches in for the players. Cause that is the softball team. That's what it's there for.
I agree.
Let them play and play at ease. The other benches and the tables, I believe everybody can bring their own chairs. If you need a table, you can bring a table. I don't think that needs to be there yet.
So if we
We're talking
did-
about $14,000 out of $550,000. I mean, I will agree that the bocce ball courts can go.
But wait,
By
I
the
thought,
wayside?
yeah, bocce and that field work alone is.
Well, no, I can
14,000.
agree the bocce ball goes into phase 2.
Mhm.
Two.
Well, you only want phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that
What's
would be
everything
phase- yeah.
without the, just take the bocce ball away. What's everything?
That's what I was gonna make a motion.
That's,
So
Well, no,
everything,
She's asking a question.
everything
How
is
much-
214, 160, I'm sorry. Yeah, 214,162.
That's everything but the bocce.
Everything except for bocce.
Well, two for, not, that's just for
No,
Brown's
'cause
Court.
that's-
Just for Browns Court, I'm sorry, just for
Right,
Browns Court.
just for Browns Court.
214,162. Everything except the 4 items that go in. Can you highlight the 4 items with bocce?
This is my math.
So it's all that
This
stuff
plus
taken
this
out.
Plus this. And my numbers aren't right either, but, or what are the? Something like that.
Oh, sugar glasses. Somebody
Make sure
trying to
she-
add-
And what would that be left?
somebody trying to add these.
I
Uh,
was just trying to add
324,
this plus this
864.
plus this.
But
You
I-
added an additional 1,002 for gravel under the pad of the storage shed,
Yeah.
and then
we
some
did.
slightly different rounding numbers for
Oh, and
benches and stuff.
what
But
we
I
haven't
think
even
that
talked
You
about-
rounded a
he
lot of
could give
numbers.
us, don't they have the fill over at the garage?
Gravel?
So those,
the-
I'm
the
just,
gravel
that's just
stone?
the differences.
Yeah, that's just what.
Yeah.
She did. And the other thing that I questioned about, it was more just that we didn't talk about. When we suggested or we talked about hiring a clerk of the works, and at one point when we were talking about the playground grant, that they said, well, we'll take 10,000 of that to hire a clerk of the
Right.
works. So that's what I put that in
I
there. as a
don't know, to be
piece.
honest with you, that would be a question. I think we should have, give it to Josh, the select board, because they
It was
would
my
be
understanding
the
that
town,
paying for
they
it
were
as
gonna
a
pay
separate-
for it
Because they've already
because
worked
they're
on
employee
hiring
of town of
somebody.
Richmond.
Yeah, they've already.
Yeah,
worked
so
on
they
hiring
pay for that
somebody.
because it's,
So I
they
think that
put the
that's
bid
not
out.
us.
They take care of the cloak of the works because it's a town of Richmond employee.
Yep.
For the
And
short
they would be
time he or she or
continuing,
here.
You know, this is a one time.
Yeah.
The, what was I just gonna say? The other thing I think we need to discuss is the number we have on here for the parking lot. And we used one of the quotes and whether we should be, we know it's significantly less if
The town does
who
it.
does it.
How much is it that you have in it? Can I just ask that?
47, it's 47,100.
Oh my God.
Even if, he
No.
can't do it this year, but he can do it next
Right.
year.
Right.
No.
And so that would save us significant budget money if we could have Pete's crew do it next year.
I dropped that price by $14,000 and there's your $14,000 difference. And that's what I proposed to him because Denise.
But you know what? That's a decision the select board could
I know,
make,
but you tell
whether
them-
they hire him next year to do it. We don't have the authority to say we're gonna have Pete do it.
Here's you.
That's
you
our
do.
proposal.
If you do.
They say they don't like that idea. They don't want Pete to do it. Pete has other projects. And we say then that increases what we're bringing to you by 15,000. And
I gotta say, I've
Okay, go
been
ahead.
sitting through those select board meetings when we hired the lawn mowing company. And it was all in the budgets that the highway department was going to then be able to take on projects that they normally would hire out for, like the curbing that they did along Bridge Street and that they've done along East
Mhm.
Main Street. That the highway department is available for projects to save the town money rather than hiring out.
Mhm.
If Pete says he can do it for a
He,
dollar
he
amount.
says he cannot do it he can't do it
can't
this
do it
year.
this year.
He is so behind
No, no,
because
that's
of
fine.
flooding.
If he says he can do it.
He's told me he cannot do it. He goes, Denise, I
Not
am
this year.
buried.
Not this year, but you don't need the parking lot immediately done while they're coming in with the contractors. You don't need it done.
So
completed
if we don't
until it's
need, if we
built.
don't need it and Pete can do it, then the difference of what we got for quotes goes back into the volunteers green,
yeah, but if we don't,
Into the-
right, so we
into
propose it as
volunteers
Pete's.
green
You
fund.
wanna
We propose it as
though.
Pete's. And if he can't, then then
I'm just saying, they need to know that that's an option and it doesn't need to be done. this
We can
fall.
tell them when we present it to the
Well-
select board on June 3rd that we can say, if we could get, if that number right there,
Did you have a
47,1,
price
could
from
go
me?
back.
Is my
I think
question.
his was only
he
the
could
20.
not do it. He could not quote us because he's swamped. He's swamped. I talked to him, he's swamped. He's so behind. He's so behind already. He doesn't even think
and we
he's gonna
can't
get.
guarantee that there will be another flood by then, or that
Exactly.
there's not, gonna be a washout somewhere. So
Okay, keep your
I
voice
think we
up.
can't-
We have talked to
I
him and
think
talked to him.
again, that
How many
could
quotes did you
be.
get on that?
Three.
The other-
And
we had to
that's,
move that
that's
one
one.
Yeah.
down too. That gives us a little.
How many yards did they bring in?
Okay,
And one of the things, like, we're talking about cement pads for the tables and chairs and players benches. is
we're not
also-
doing players bench.
Well, they're
with
not
cement
putting
pads.
But there's gonna be some kind of a
Well, just a
concrete.
sonic tube with cement to hold them steady.
But I'm thinking, aren't we going to end up spending more money if we don't do all of those things at one time?
Yes,
When you're pulling in,
piecemealing.
when you're piecemealing it, you're gonna be paying more money. And the reason I'm bringing that up, it's because, and I think I shared this with you, Denise, I'm not sure everybody else did. When I got the quote from the bocce people, and I got the updated picture of our park, what it was going to look like, I shared it with him, and he came back and said, am I just doing the bocce court, or would you like me to do quotes for, and I think it was repairing the baseball field, the cement, the tree planting, that sort of thing. So I'm just concerned that if we're not.
Jay
if we're-
Hutchins did the same thing. They quoted the parking lot.
Yep.
They quoted the trees and the installation. And I think that's
Was
all we
one
quoted
away.
on there. Maybe more other things.
I mean, I'm not saying this guy is gonna be cheap. I'm just saying, I don't know,
Oh, they did do the concrete pads as well. So they did the total parking lot, the concrete pads and the trees, the 6-foot cedars.
What was that total first?
Higher,
I'm ready.
109. All right, can you guys live with 14,000 extra? To make the bocce go
I
away?
guess what.
It's only removing the
Well,
bocce.
Not, huh?
That 214 is only removing the bocce and having everything else stand.
I mean,
What about, Kara just made a good point. I mean, what if we put the parking lot down? Because you're not gonna want those trucks to be in there driving over a new parking lot.
There's
with
no
pickleball.
guarantee, Jeannie, that Pete will be able to do it next year.
I know, but
So
I'm just
could we
saying, move that down to
mention
the second
if
phase
Pete
too.
has time,
Totally, we
can
will
we
definitely
put it in
mention.
our presentation? that
Exactly,
if-
and say the
if
last thing
we-
we want done is the parking lot.
And
Is
if
that,
right.
that agreed? We want the pickleball courts
So you
in
might have
first?
to have a base, Denise. You might have to have a base parking lot, but then you can have a finished.
No, we don't want to do any of it, Kara, until all the projects are done, so
I'm
it's
saying
perfect.
It might be muddy and soupy. You might have to bring in some gravel of a base of a portion of the area that the contractors need to work with is all I'm saying. So you
Yeah.
can do a portion of the parking lot, like 20,000 in phase 1 and 27,000 in phase 2 to give yourself some room in both phases. And then if you're able to save on the 27,000 in phase 2, then you have that money to play with.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, you
And
might have to phase the parking lot is all.
Yeah. so even maybe if Pete can do it next year, we will save money.
Right, if we could just.
And if
mention
we all talk with him,
Right,
and maybe if the select board directs him, say this is on your list next year.
right. If it's possible, if Pete can do this, it will save this committee
Perfect.
if this much money. If not, this is the contingency, this is the
This is the lowest
price.
quote of 3.
Yes, that's all I'm asking.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
no, that's a great idea.
And
That's
keep in
a great
mind
idea.
that I think, well, I know, the demolition wasn't included in the playground either, because that was something.
But don't you
they
think that's
talked about the
something we
town
could get
do.
for volunteers and the town?
She's saying that the town was supposed to do it, that the town was gonna do it. And then if he doesn't have time for X, then does he not have time for Y?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what else his other,
Well,
as
depending-
part of this, what else he would, as
Mhm.
part of our,
You did a
3
phenomenal
parks.
job on Overrocker Park, building that
Yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah.
oh, I know he likes those projects and he would,
Mhm.
But I don't want to pressure.
And then him being hurt, I mean, he wasn't able to drive for how many weeks?
I know, quite a few.
So but he's got a good crew working with him right now.
I think if we could just mention that in our presentation, that if
I-
we could do this, it would help us and the town save this amount of money.
That's a great
If
idea.
not, then this is the fallback.
Would
This
you
is
be
what-
willing to do that,
Me?
that part, that
Listen,
You're supposed to be thinking about it.
I had to think about the monuments. You know how long it
I-
took me?
give me the
Finally
words.
found
and
the
I can-
numbers,
I can
by the
say,
way.
it. You can tell me the words.
I
But,
found the numbers that Pete originally quoted on the 20 parking lot.
mhm.
If we recall what Jeannie has our original numbers, what our lowest bid was, that was the one that you have
That
over
was
there
this
for the
29?
20.
one.
Pete's number was $7,500 to $8,000.
Okay,
That was his
so
message to me.
that might have been his quote. But I think if we're doing this park nicely, it needs to be the same specs that everyone else bid the project in.
This is just material.
Based
that's
on the
difference.
sketch that John Scott itemized, he used the same specs
Okay.
that
I
you're
sent
talking
him-
about.
Oh, you sent him?
I, per
That's what
Fran
his
in
quote
your thing,
have
I
the
sent
same-
him John Scott's itemized thing. And I said, he's going to recognize this. No, it'll be fine. Oh, he knew exactly
Mm-hmm.
whose it was.
So it is the same.
It was exactly the same. But,
Well, that would be great if he could.
right,
So-
absolutely. If he could, like we said, it doesn't have to be done
So we
this
asked
year.
him Monday night. You know, we asked the select board if you would
Is it
allow,
possible
is
to
it possible
get
to
on
be able
his
to use,
schedule?
yes, to
for
get on a schedule for
2025?
next spring?
Therefore, based on those numbers, I feel like we can bring it down by 25,000.
So what are you saying to
Hold on.
not?
So
So
I,
you keep
but I
saying you said
don't think
14,
we should
you
bring
said
the
that, I
number
don't know what
down
numbers.
because we don't have that as a bid number. If we're presenting before the select board, and if we save the money, put that money back into the account next spring, but present what we have and what we know and what is on paper. And then just make the mention,
As we're presenting it,
we could save
saying,
a lot of money if you would allow Pete to build the
The
30
park.
space, you know,
I
two
think then you're-
handicap.
I think then you have to be prepared to immediately have said numbers. I think they're gonna be like, okay,
How
we've
much?
told you that he can do these projects. How much now?
You have to just say.
Then
how
we
much.
take the number you just blurted it out.
well, it's
and
gonna be
say
up
that's it.
because that was only a 20. parking
20,
spot.
that's right. It's
Right.
only 20, not a 30.
Well, no, I left enough, but like, if we're saying 47,000 and I said take off 25, we're still leaving a huge buffer between this is more than double
Right.
what he gave us.
I
for
say we
code.
present,
Can we
This is-
present both numbers? I mean, okay, go
we
ahead.
don't have
Okay,
Pete's
I'm sorry,
definite
go ahead.
number. But I say we present, and when it comes to the parking lot, this is the lowest quote that we have. But we also would like to make a recommendation or request that Pete be able to
And his crew, yep.
do it in spring of 2025 or whenever they
Spring of
can.
25.
Yeah. And that it would save us a lot of money
Minimum
of
Right.
20,000.
And that money to be
$20,000.
I
automatically
think
put
minimum of
back in.
25. 'cause
minimum 25,000.
Right, which would be
Right.
put back in the fund towards Volunteers Green. I mean, they themselves, they'd have to see that, I mean, they can't.
Tess, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Jeannie?
I guess I'm very confused. I'm not sure what.
Okay.
Now, so,
Okay, let's
so
out.
so
So
what would
this
you
is the lowest
hold-
quote we have.
So
yeah,
I'm
no, I
thinking,
get that, but
can
what-
I,
so
hold on.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking how we do it is we have a table like this, but in this table, we
Mhm.
add a second column that then says, if Pete does some of this work, our estimated values are, and we have two columns. One is if we have to contract it all out, and one is if Pete can do the things that we're identifying. This is the Round Church one, just to show a table, but the same kind of concept, and be saying, then we could be showing that. I think that's A, and then in terms of bocce ball as a secondary phase 2 concept would be a subtotal of here are proposed projects, and then a second category saying potential future projects, should the funds be there,
Bocce ball.
bocce ball, cost,
'Cause if we mention that Pete, the parking lot, because there's such a big give, I'm okay with saying if Pete can do this, then I say we just take the bocce ball out and do it, the rest of it.
I agree.
Everybody agree with that?
Because it'd be $14,000.
We'll have made up, if we are able to get the 20, done by the 25, you'll be up 11,000.
So, okay, so you're saying hold off on the bocce courts
Mhm.
only,
In its entirety.
and hopefully but that we would like to have that done if we end up having enough money,
Right,
but,
If-
and
Yeah.
so it's just the bocce,
just the bocce. And everything that goes
Everything
with the
else goes.
bocce.
That results in a total for this project of 189,000. Resulting in amount left. Oh, I forget which one's orange, probably this one. Of three, yeah. Of about 350,000.
In that chart that you have, Jeannie, that Kendra was showing around church, if you go the green for everything that you definitely want them to do in phase one, and then maybe a different color like orange for like what you phase
I
two with the bocce
think
ball.
Yeah,
we're
but I think
just-
we're not.
We're not gonna do that.
You're
We're
not
not
gonna
gonna do
do
that.
that.
We're gonna just do a second page and show the difference, what
Phase
we
two?
think Pete could do it. Or just if Pete could help us to do this project for us, boom,
You got the second
and
column?
then the bocce.
Okay.
And then the bocce, there's 4 items under the bocce.
Mhm.
I
Is
think
that
your color
correct?
coding though, when you are able to re-say, I'd like to do everything in green. And this is the next phase, different color, it's able, people will know what you're talking about.
Jeannie, how do you feel about that?
Well, that's a little bit more money towards the,
Okay, so give me, I
So
guess,
these are.
give me the
are
grand
different
total
incentives.
of Browns Court, please.
Now, do you think that they're gonna jump on something and say, okay, based on these numbers, let's go ahead and put in pickleball courts?
Yes, I
No.
think they're gonna make a motion Monday night.
They're gonna say,
Yeah.
we accept the 3 parks committee, and that's what I was asking. What is the grand total? 189,
189,
162?
162.
And
See,
if
that's where I
Pete
feel
can't do the project, what is the total?
That's why I'm with you in presenting it. As,
right.
Hold on one
instead of
second.
just Like,
The 214.
like all
You had-
rather
Oh, I'm
than
so sorry.
phase one and phase
214,
two.
162.
Speak up.
Okay, so
Speak up.
just-
I just have some concerns, like, we still don't have a clue as to what volunteers green.
Mhm.
I know, but
is-
what's gonna happen if we present, so when we present all around church, Fran's gonna do that.
Yep.
And you're still thinking if you're gonna do them on your section.
I could probably do it.
I think,
Yay, I
Yeah.
think it's important.
I think we have to let, I don't think you had finished your thought.
Yes,
And so I want to let you finish your thought on
Well,
your concern. You had
I'm-
concerns about
I'm,
presenting.
I'm
And so I
still
want to
just,
understand what you want to present or what you don't want.
I'm still just concerned that if we put aside this money for the pickleball or whatever, it doesn't matter what. I just have some real concerns about volunteers green. I would hate for it to come out and say, oh yeah, they pushed the pickleball, but yet we don't have what we want for the playground, or we don't have what we want for the bandstand. I'm wondering if we should recommend to them
350?
to not put it out to bid until they get
Huh?
a
Just
firmer.
shy.
Can I ask you a
349,
question based on that thought process? Because
Yeah.
I'm the one who just started this whole thing. I mean, started the whole plan to begin with. There's gotta be some things that you want to do, that you are willing to fight for and stand up for. And if pickleball isn't one of them, which I'll be very surprised because you're doing 4 courts in your recommendation, that if you're not willing to say start and go and start that project because you don't know about this one over here that has so much controversy going on with it right now. You went to that special meeting, you had planning commission, select board, FEMA, you had zoning people here. You know that that's gonna be a heavier lift. So everybody else has to wait.
FEMA wasn't
And
here, but
you're
that's
not-
okay.
The state representative for FEMA was here.
Wasn't he on the corner?
Yeah.
Yes.
He
but
wasn't a FEMA rep. He wasn't a
No,
FEMA
he wasn't,
employee.
yeah.
He wasn't a FEMA employee, he's the state rep for FEMA. He deals with FEMA for the state of Vermont. And the FEMA reps don't come to the state like that. Unless they have a special meeting, reason to come, and I've invited them, they've come. So my point is, if you wait to present everything as a whole in the winter, you're delaying the process of getting those things that you definitely want to
Okay.
chip off.
And
your
all the
list.
bids will be null and
So my-
void.
And it's gonna, right, so my push to you is you can even have a motion drafted, because every time somebody wants to come in front of the select board, they have the motion drafted and ready to go, prepared by Josh. You need to have a motion drafted, prepared, ready to go for the select board to consider. Or else they're gonna fumble the ball up there on you.
They are ready for you to present. They are ready to move some of this money. They gave you $100,000 extra above what the ARPA committee recommended they give you. That's how much they want you to do something.
Okay.
Don't hesitate because of volunteers green. You've got controversy going on there. You've got decisions to be made there that are outside your realm.
Lots of controversy there.
Please don't hold up on Brown's Court stuff. It's a park that should be utilized and developed. What level of development you want to do with that is for you all to decide, but please recommend they do something there. I don't care if it's just fix the softball field for $30,000. Make a motion Monday.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion. It's pretty much, I think, what we've all been talking about. I make a motion that we set aside $189,162 for Browns Court Park. This does not include bocce, and this does not include the 3 parking quotes we got. This is the amount with Pete doing the work. If Pete can't do the work, it's $214,162, but the motion would be, we make a motion for Browns Court, $189,162. And then we would have, correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Math, maybe, $349,864 left for Volunteers Green. Plus what other money Kara and I can come up with. We already got 14 from her.
Now, the cedar trees. Is there anything in there
What are you
that
talking
had,
about?
They're in there.
Oh, no. Without,
So this is the second option we were talking about, which was if it was just pickleball, parking lot, cedars, and the softball with the spigot. That's this other number next.
yeah,
to-
that's
That's a
not
separate
the one I'm
discussion.
doing. That's not the motion I'm making.
Okay.
It's
Or the
everything. but the bocce.
SPIGOT. I had it spelled that way at one time too.
SPIGOT.
It's a spigot,
Stop.
Spigot.
Got it.
So it's everything in its entirety,
but the bocce.
but the 4 items that fall under the bocce.
and the parking lot.
And
did
who
you just
knows,
say?
maybe the town of Richmond will come to us and say, we have to have bocce. And who knows, maybe we fundraise for it, who knows?
But I'm saying that with the cedar trees, is it included in that price, the
Yes.
installation of?
Yes, yes.
It is, okay.
Yes, it is. It is. Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor of the motion, then we can just, or do you want to
Let's
discuss?
let's make sure everyone's following what that, does everyone understand what that entails?
No.
So
So it's a
Can you go
bocce,
back to the bocce?
and,
It's,
And-
it's everything minus bocce.
yeah,
And reducing for the 25,000 on the parking lot.
thank you.
That
So
remains
I-
with
I
everything
wasn't
else, so all
following.
the tables and cement pads,
So tell me the parking lot new price.
20,
$22,000. She reduced it by 25.
yeah, 22,000.
22,1?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
Any
That
further
leaves more
Any
than we even had
conversations?
thought of
Exactly.
in the Browns or in the volunteers.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm sorry, but we got 550 and we're leaving 350 for Volunteers Green? When, in my opinion, Browns Court's been neglected for years and years and years
Well,
and
so
years.
is Volunteers Green, so
Yeah,
let's not
right.
go there.
And
Years and years and years and
Yes.
years.
yes, and I mean, the playground it's either gonna be, we
It's
build a
either
new
gonna be
playground or
condemned.
it's not, it,
It can't
that will
stay,
be
it-
destroyed.
yeah.
I mean, it can't stay if it's not safe.
it's not gonna pass
Are we
inspection.
Fencing
ready?
around it.
Ready for a vote or no? All those in
Any other
favor?
numbers hold on, any other numbers you had questions on, Jeannie? You look like you're still doing that in your head.
No,
don't wanna-
I
don't
sort of,
wanna
I was
rush
just,
you.
I'm still trying to think of everything that's needed at Volunteer Green. I just wanted to make sure, that's, I mean, if you really think that
As
that's
rough
enough to,
numbers, 350,000 is the the playground as it is. And 100 on a pavilion and 50,000 on a path. That's,
and then, so
That's
here's the other thing, the things that we need, I'm not saying I'm just saying what else we need we need fencing, we're gonna need 4 to 6 benches, there's the new bathrooms, there's the old bathrooms to look at. And you said we don't have to think about the ball fields now?
No, FEMA paid for those.
no,
Yes,
that's
you
not,
do.
that's not what he
Yes, you
said.
do.
He said that he needs an additional 5,000 per field
That's what I
and
thought.
2,500 for the two with dugouts.
At the select board meeting, though, when
20,000.
he presented the money coming in for FEMA,
They're not.
I think we're,
They did not fill the clay in as much as they're supposed
Yeah.
to. You still trip over the sod mounds. It's not done. The fields are not done. They're not fully safe. I don't believe. Not they're done. I've seen that.
And then I think, so sort of finish this, then when we
Mhm.
get, so, okay, so I thought the field that needed work, yeah. And then, so when there's a new area down below, that's gonna need 4 to 6 new benches and maybe 3 to 4 picnic tables. And whatever else, the farmer's market, I don't know, electricity, signage, so,
Jeannie,
I mean, if
agree
you
with
think we can fit it all, you know, I mean, we'll
No, I
just do
don't.
what we,
No.
I just
But
think
I don't
there's,
think we could fit it all.
you
for
couldn't fit
another
it with the 550.
$14,000.
You couldn't do it with the
Well, our
550,
budget
Jeannie.
really,
but
you could come closer because the number we currently sit at is about 472.
What are you, I agree with you, Jeannie. 350 is not enough. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I've done the numbers, ran the numbers before. It's not enough.
Yeah.
But the question is, what are you proposing that you only want up to Brown's Court in its place? Because that 14,000 isn't going to make up how much you're going to
Right.
really need that pavilion. If you're putting handicap accessible bathrooms in it and stuff like that.
Right.
I think some of your numbers are too low, but,
Yeah. Well, we don't have numbers, that's the thing.
We don't have any numbers for volunteers.
That's why I'm afraid to,
And maybe,
I mean, I guess that's why I was thinking, that's why I had said field work, you know, like, so it's $10,000 to hold off for the fence work and the
Mhm.
benches. And
Yep.
we said the bocce
Exactly.
court.
And I think we should remember
And
too,
again, the
not-
benches and the picnic table there, I would rather see, if it comes to, you know, one park or the other, I'd sure rather see benches and
more used.
table at the volunteer green where it will get more use. I also, I know that a bunch of those were destroyed in the flood, so there's probably only about 3 benches left out of, I think there were, I don't
6, I
remember how
thought.
many there were.
Off the
There
top
were
of my
10
head,
or
it was like
12
6. I thought it was like 6.
benches there, and I know Pete just got rid of the cement ones. I think when that
I think
all
you're gonna have
happened.
some people push you to not put as much back there either. I think you've heard that in some of the public meetings, and you're seeing some of it
Of what?
on Front Porch Forum. The bench issues and the picnic table issues and where they're gonna go and in the floodway versus the floodplain.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you've got those issues to deal with.
you
Yeah.
can't put new ones in where they didn't exist. Is my understanding.
Well, that's all
right?
changing with the changing of zoning
Oh.
potentially is so. But you're still gonna, like she said, have some pushback if we're putting more and more stuff.
Because you might take picnic tables out of the floodway.
Yeah, I
that
wouldn't,
lower
I
floodway,
personally
and
wouldn't
putting them
put
up in
any
the pavilion.
picnic tables or
I'm
benches
just-
down below if we're able to put everything up top.
On the pavilion.
But I still think all of this adds up. I don't disagree with you at all on
No.
the overall view you're talking about, maybe small
Yeah.
nuances.
But I'm,
But I don't know what the alternative solution is.
right, because I don't really think we should sacrifice. I mean, I thought we kind of came to a somewhat of an agreement or met halfway with taking the bocce ball out,
Me too.
because I don't think we should sacrifice Brown Church Park or Brown's Court completely
Mhm.
for that,
For an unknown.
for an unknown. I do think we've left a good chunk of money to start that.
Yep.
And the first, I think we all need to remember, Volunteers Green was done by volunteers. The first playground was played 100% by volunteers.
So now you can't do that. You can't do the installation because of insurance.
Right, the installation,
can
no,
do- they can-
the fundraising. The fundraising was all volunteers.
Sue
And if
Possum
you-
did that and it
Right,
was what,
if you paid a
$30,000?
certain amount of money,
Do you
then
have
you got
somebody
your
who's
name
gonna
on
do
a
that?
binder, you
Yeah.
got your name on a thing and.
But who would do that now?
Denise, I've spent a lot of time on this before you guys even started.
Yeah.
I am comfortable with supporting you all going for Brown's Court for everything but the bocce ball,
Yeah.
with the understanding that what is left, you will spend in a very well thought out plan for Volunteers Green, and it might not accomplish everything in phase 1 for Volunteers Green, but you could have a phase 2. But I really think you should move forward with Brown's Court and
Yep.
get something going on to show that you guys have put a lot of time in. Get the phase of Brown's Court going on, Brown Church going on,
and say you're developing volunteers green and you know what your budget is the remaining 350 that you've got left there.
Yeah, and I think that's the only reason I just stated those things is just so that we're all aware of, you know, the many, many things we have to think about there.
Mhm.
So
But I support your plan. if you move forward.
$350,000 is more than that we would have had before.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that I will stay on this committee, but which is, I could maybe, but there might be,
You can if you do the monuments and fees. No. I love you,
You know,
Megan.
you know, the ADA, all the ADA handicap stuff.
Yeah.
From what I hear in the outside world, there's a lot of grants for that. I mean,
There
not
is.
that I can write anything like that, but you could possibly reach out.
There's a lot of grants on ADA.
Well, and I mean, I said that I would write the grant that is coming up again.
Yay.
Right, and you
but
said
we
there's a
just can't
conservation
guarantee
fund
those
and
things,
you,
that's all.
You said you'd get
Said she's
14.
not
Yes,
I'm
no.
using it.
you're using
We're
it?
sharing
Town
it.
Center building, baby.
We're sharing it.
No, I'm not.
All right, so do we want to vote on the
You got
motion?
550 I got.
Do we want to vote on the motion
Yes,
at 8:30?
yeah.
Sure.
All those in favor of the motion, do you need me to repeat it? Jeannie's like,
Oh, the
no.
budget- No, see, I have so many scribbles on here. Now I don't know which one is which.
You want a new pen? You want a red pen?
No, it's all right. It's all right.
All right, all those in favor of the motion that Denise made, Megan seconded, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'll do it.
Good.
I don't know.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm so excited for you.
I think my blood pressure is up.
I won't be there. I'll be in
Wait,
Boston.
wait till Monday comes.
See,
You gonna zoom in?
I'm trying not to take any of it
Depends on
personally.
what the
I'm
news
just
is.
saying, you know,
I mean,
thinking
either,
about
like,
the-
I just,
No, don't worry
thinking
about us.
the-
You're gonna
what
be
it has
here.
to do.
She's
I
gonna be
hear
there.
you.
Yeah, she doesn't go.
So then now we have to
Wanna-
decide who's presenting what part of it.
Okay, hold on. Let's,
We gotta go through
hold
the,
on. Let me, we
Like
have
we-
more questions before we.
Kendra, can you send us a copy?
Yeah, we need that when it's all done.
Yeah, not right now.
But no, when it's all, when all the questions are answered.
Okay, we gotta go back to the questions on the presentation itself. I've already modified all of the round church ones.
so there's, the Christmas tree is on that slide yet. If
I,
you want to take that off.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
no, it's gonna remain on this slide because it got done.
Yeah, and we're
So
gonna
then we'll talk
show,
about
this
it
was
later.
what we wanted.
So what I said
Okay.
later here,
And we're
yeah.
gonna show Richmond Historical Society.
See,
Okay,
paid
there it
for,
did it
and
for
then
us.
she'll
I
talk
didn't see
about,
that you had paid for behind it.
and
That's
I
good.
already reduced the number.
Yep.
So
Yep.
then this
You're
one, I
fast.
adjusted this slide too. It now says who we got it cleaned by, what it would have cost.
Yep.
It also then we.
I'm
have-
sorry, can you go right back to the
Yes.
beginning? I'm sorry, the very cover page.
It says in the
Perfect.
minutes, that's what you're introducing. No,
Okay.
this is the whole thing.
Yep.
And this.
Welcome, yep.
Any other? We good?
Perfect.
So hold on. So Denise is, we'll start adding in the note. Denise, you're presenting this. And then you're presenting this plus.
I'm-
Committee.
At least that's what you approved in the minutes.
Did you get how many meetings you've held?
Yes, we're talking about that.
A very good statistic to have on this, so that you show how much public.
Do you want me to send you another slide, Kendra? Did you just state those
Yeah,
things?
Yeah,
like, what,
I think you were gonna
17 or
state.
I was
18?
gonna state them.
You were gonna state
Yeah.
several things that.
How many emails, how many minutes, how many other
Yeah.
committees we've met with?
That's beautiful data.
Yep.
Other things.
I think it'd be great in a graph.
Shut your mouth.
Participation.
Then Fran's talking about this, the history, what it actually is, just this park, this green, blah, blah, blah. Did you send me bench pictures?
You had some in there, didn't you? Didn't I
No,
send
the
some
old
at the
one.
meet? Well, they are, it's gonna be the very same thing as the old
Right,
one,
right.
but
I don't
I'll
think
send
you
you, and the picnic table, I
I don't think.
thought you popped it up there even last time.
For these
On
ones?
its way.
Yeah, you did.
Right here,
Yeah,
but
you did.
these ones,
They're on my unread
work
one.
already done?
No,
Good.
no, they're here. I gotta add them
Okay.
in. Let me make a note. Okay. I'll remember this time. Okay. That's this slide.
And
This
we're,
one,
and Fran's gonna talk all about that, the benches too,
Yep.
and why we
Yeah,
have
and
those benches. I don't
Can
need to do
you
that.
also just put a note to Fran that she needs to come up with a motion for 11? Oh no, it's different now because she took out the tree. Do you know what the new motion would be?
How much?
It was 11,874.
974.
Okay. And if you could just put a note at the bottom screen, Fran asks Select Board for a motion to approve 10,974. Just so we don't forget to tell her.
They might have you present your motions at the end, Denise. Because they might say, well, I want to see what the other park is that you're proposing, so your motions would probably be at the end of your presentation.
Yeah.
Versus cutting up your presentation with motions. Just a recommendation.
We can still give it to them.
Still give it to them and then we'll wait till the
They
end.
can just-
They can do it as two,
Oh, yeah, no, definitely give it to them.
but we want two different ones.
And then, okay, we're gonna go back up here. So this is the proposed projects, which we do still include the monument cleaning and the Christmas tree, because then we end up talking about that. We got those
Right.
paid for.
Mhm.
This is the one like I said, we did the work already, pictures, information.
Wow, that says a lot. That's beautiful.
Then this is our costing, and then it says no new additional proposed maintenance on this park. And then I give any maintenance information we have in the notes for Fran to talk
Right.
about, including Mansfield Monument Cleaning Company said that they would charge $750 every other year. if
For
they
all four
maintain this.
monuments.
For all
Yeah.
four.
And
Right.
you're going to present everything about the monuments.
Oh, I thought she just said Fran was doing that.
No, you're doing the monuments. No, I think it's important because you did so much work on that.
So what do you want me to say?
You just present.
Just
See?
exactly
Pat,
what
you
you
got
tell
this?
us. I called this guy, blah, blah, blah.
Called 3 different companies.
Yep, put it down on a piece of paper.
And just
And
say,
if you want to send it to two of us, we'll help you if you missed anything.
right, I called 3 different companies. This one came back, a reliable company, said they would donate it as I don't know how to say it, because I want to say why he donated it.
And tell him, just say it.
That
And look back through your emails, because all your emails had such great info. And use that
Does
as,
text.
on your
Yeah.
text or emails.
but I don't propose the maintenance on it too, do I?
You'll talk about the maintenance going forward,
And he's offered to do all 4 monuments for $750 every other year.
There you go.
every other. Okay.
He recommends every other year, so they don't get to this way they were this last time. You guys,
You think?
now my cheeks are turning bright cheek. Cherry red.
Okay.
Yes, I.
Hold on.
So proud of you, girl.
And I also thought that we talked about cleaning the benches should be done like twice in the summer because of the bird poop. I thought we were saying, but I don't
It's every
know
year.
what Fran,
We said, last meeting, we said every year.
Okay.
They should be cleaned. So that was in this.
maybe like
maintenance
formally
discussion.
cleaned, but they're gonna have to be washed off.
Mm.
Okay. I can't edit my work because I have my work open in another place.
So
no-
that's all
okay.
around church.
Right.
Then we go into Brown's Court, and this is Chris Haggerty's survey. We aren't gonna go into too much detail about all of the history on this one, because we've all,
Acreage,
Yeah.
boom. I would say acreage and boom. You agree?
who's presenting?
I'll do the Chris Haggerty portion. Add to Chris's.
Uh-oh. I'm changing the minutes in the wrong minutes page, sorry.
Proposed plans, okay.
And I just want to make sure you guys are, can you go back to Chris's? Perfect. So perfect. I hope the select board has gone up and seen the boundaries.
Okay, so let's see how we have to change this based on what we just voted. Pickleball courts.
All you have to do is take out the second line.
This is not the right word, apparently.
What were you gonna say
Are
about
we
the
gonna keep that
parking
shed?
lot? How
Are
you
we
were-
keeping the shed or taking?
We left the shed in.
But you could just take out.
Because you're still gonna need it for pickleball
They shed for pickleball.
and
et cetera,
hoses.
Et cetera.
Yeah. Regarding the shed, I pretty sure I can get someone to build it if we buy the lumber.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
And then
Uh,
we have the
But
plan
when you
as
could,
it
can you
is.
go back to the, could we just, for 30 cars, could we put with 2 handicap spaces?
Additional or 28 and 2?
It's 28 and 2. Yeah, 2 handicap spots included. So you guys all know that because we went over the 20, we had to have 2.
Yep.
They come to watch too.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't say, we won't talk about yet who's printing, but so then this is the plan that we'll say, and then we'll say that this is out there, but that's not in this current
Okay,
proposed plan.
could you do, give the credit to John Lynn, his logo? Please.
Can I make a recommendation?
Mhm.
Put your list of things after they see the visual. Let them see the visual plan first, and then the list of things follows.
The
Yeah,
issue
we're
with
gonna-
that is, the concern with that for me is, then you're gonna essentially go through the list while looking at the plan, so then should we just
You're
not
not
have
gonna
the
be
list at
paying
all?
attention.
I don't really think, personally, I think the list is not necessary if you just label on the plans what
I-
they are.
Think the list is necessary. We don't need to talk heavily about it, and that's why I paused on saying who's presenting it, is because I think we are going to be providing the slides to the select board in a packet, and so they can then have the list while they're then looking at.
They're
the
gonna
plan.
have their own document in front of them.
So
They're
we
gonna
don't
be
need to go
turning.
over them.
I'm just talking about the public. I'm the public.
We're not about, this is for the
I-
select board to approve, and so we'll say,
I
here's our
understand.
list, and then we move to the picture, and then
They'll
they'll
have
the
questions
list
and then
in
the
their
public
hand.
will have
Just a
questions.
recommendation. Yep.
Trying to find John Lynn.
Okay, so we're on. Denise, you're doing first, second. And that's what I just.
Do you really
got a
need to
minute
do
ago.
that? I mean, I don't, because she's gonna have the notes on the bottom of the
Yeah.
document.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm,
send.
It's-
that to you.
I'm just trying to figure out how many slides there were on this.
Oh,
okay.
well, they may change it.
Hold on, I'm just trying to find where it's.
No, as you noticed, I got less and less, and every time I do the minutes.
Right.
Because I was having.
I'd like to still keep the water fountain in, just so that we can show them,
Where the spigot's gonna be.
well, that we were gonna go with this one, but we thought vandalism.
So you're wanting Hillview Design. It doesn't say John Lynn at all.
Right.
Just says Hillview Design. Is that what you want?
No, can you just put his logo and his
here it is.
license number? That's button, isn't it?
No, right here.
Oh, I can't see it. You're covering it.
Oh. These people want.
Yeah, right there.
Hold on.
So, yeah. What do you, I was just thinking out loud. What about John presenting, or just, is he just here for questions?
Just here for questions.
He's not on the committee, so.
No.
Man, I could go for your rhubarb cake right about now.
You know, I rhubarb, I cut the rhubarb at 4 o'clock, but then I said, no.
You would have taken it.
I just finished the
I
minutes
was
finally.
at the eye doctor right before the meeting.
I'll bring it next.
I went to the drugstore after and I almost got a big bag of M&Ms and I was gonna bring them, just pass them around. I'm thinking, that's terrible. I can't do that.
I tried to get myself a
Yes.
cookie. There's a hair in it.
Oh, disgusting.
That's my day.
That's your day. Honey, I've had one of those weeks.
I'm gonna put it on both slides since both of
I
these are
appreciate
presented
that.
by him, or prepared by him. I'm gonna put it over here though, because
Okay,
I'm cutting it down.
thank you. I'll reconfirm that he's gonna be online that night, just to remind him again. I'll send a email out. He said he'd be here, but I'll just reconfirm.
Should we ask John to eliminate the bocce courts from the diagram?
Nope.
I would
No,
leave
no,
them on there.
leave
for
'em on.
sure.
Okay.
Because
And
I
that's
think
what
you
you'll
can mention, you
Yep.
know, this is either if we end up having
Yeah.
X amount of dollars,
Okay.
or some volunteer as gung ho that we got the work done.
We also talked about the signage pictures here. I think we add them down below though.
Did you get the little kiosk picture that it just said General Park that I think
Should,
was showing that
should
to
the
you.
signage all be on one page, like Tess's and Jeannie's?
Well, the signage for the pickleball courts are part of the pickleball courts, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
but
it's
it would be
just-
nice
it's
to
right
show them
there.
what, I mean, it's such a nice sign. I think we should show them.
I mean, it's not set in stone. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, right. But I just, I think a visual would still be
Yep.
great.
They're very visual.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
And Jeannie, you'll talk about your little sign. So you'll talk
Well,
about
I'll
your
be happy to
signs.
talk about all the amenities.
Good.
If I get it figured. I figure I could. So what I was considering amenities, see if what you think. The shed, unless somebody else wants to talk
No.
about that. I think the spigot is an amenity, wouldn't you think?
Yes.
The gravel pads for the
Yes.
storage shed, then the kiosk signing, 4 benches, the picnic table, and the cement pads that go with it, a bike rack, and the fountain.
Perfect.
But we can.
And if
do I
we
not
get
even
to
mention the
June
fountain?
3rd, I think we all just note that, okay, this is, okay, you did the work and know it inside and out, pickleball, that's all your baby. The only thing I'm gonna say, I love how you're so soft and sweet, but you gotta speak up that night. You really have to
That teacher
speak.
voice,
You
huh?
gotta use your teacher voice.
That's gone.
Yeah.
Retired.
Tired that.
Nice and loud.
Are you, the pads that you were talking about, is that so that you can anchor the picnic tables and stuff like that?
Yes,
So they
cement
don't
pads that
walk
go in
away.
Yeah.
base, basically.
So they don't walk away.
And so they don't get eroded.
Well, I
quickly
definitely
too, but
appreciate that, but the walking
it's more-
away.
yeah, that's-
Just be on our new
Yes,
bridge.
that happened at Volunteer Green at one time, so now that's.
Thank
So
How much time are we given at that meeting?
As
for-
much as we need,
Okay.
it was an hour.
as much as we
I
need.
think they have you for an hour, so they might be wanting to move you along, so just be ready.
Are we going first?
Yep, we're 7. But
So I think this,
the
these
select
slides
board
that we're
runs over
showing,
everything.
these things, these benches, and they're mostly you can kind of
Yeah.
flip through. And
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want
Sure.
like something like that?
Didn't
too?
you- did
Did
you
I
send
send
me
it
that?
to you?
I thought
That's what I
made
was
an- think-
wondering
I
if I
think
did.
so.
It just says.
So Krenda,
general.
Krenda, that was a nice one. Kendra, I haven't had a drink yet today, no. So once all the presentation of the pictures and the slides, yes, all that stuff is done. Will you start at the financial stuff and go through it line by line for them?
So, okay, we gotta go back, we have to, yes,
Okay,
but, so so we've talked about some of the, so Jeannie's gonna talk about all the amenities.
Yeah, is that what you think? Okay, I
Yeah.
just want to know what goes under amenities.
So that's what I was looking at, yeah.
So
So,
pickleball, I guess, would,
Pickleball is Tess.
yeah,
yeah.
but would Fran talk about the Cedars?
Yes,
part?
yes.
so that's why I think
And
we might
then-
want to reorder some of these so
Yeah.
that we're not just jumping around. So that's what I was trying
Yeah,
to kind of.
Right.
So pickleball is Tess. And then and then
Fran could follow with the Cedars.
the
Fran could
water spigot.
That's
would
an
be
amenity.
Amenities. And then bike rack,
Amenity.
Cedars is so I'm gonna move the Cedars up to.
I would do it right after the pickleball.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's tied to.
It's
That-
because of the pickleball.
And then softball field repairs.
Could you do that?
Yes.
Are you okay with Kendra doing that? I think Kendra,
Yeah,
you,
I wouldn't.
Yeah. yeah, honey, you're the one who's
Um,
gone.
Then the gravel parking lot, I assume would be
Yep.
you.
I'll do that.
So then these leave. I
All
think,
that
about
rest of
12.
forward. You good with that?
Mhm.
But I'm gonna move the shed out because I don't know, it bothers me that it's like that. Have
And
that
you
be
want
the
me to
very-
say about the shed? There's a possibility we could have this donated, but we're not. sure.
Yeah, if we bought
Right.
if the lumber, we
Mhm.
could, they could pound it out in a day.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry, it was
But
annoying. me
don't
the way that
confuse
looked.
them with
I don't know.
sewage like that.
Oh, I'm not.
Get rid of the 4 walkers behind the benches.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
just.
Yeah,
I put benches and picnic table.
with concrete pads.
Sure, that'll make sure I say.
Then,
it.
yeah, you make sure you say it. And should we note that they're handicap accessible?
She could.
Oh,
She
you'll
has a
say that
picture
in
of
your
it. She has a
presentation.
picture of it.
Yes, because that's.
You'll
how
say that in your
we pointed out
presentation.
that The
Okay.
one bench won't
So,
be
okay,
there and.
hold on,
yeah.
let's. That's not-
So your benches, it's 2 benches now? Because you had 2 benches by,
No, I think
It's-
there's still 4 benches. I'm saying the picnic
No,
table.
because
Oh, because
two
there's
were
no
supposed
bocce
to do
court.
bocce.
but you had 2 by the bocce court.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you. Okay, yeah, so,
So that'll just be
hey,
run over
there's
money.
2 more benches of volunteer screen.
So, but I want to remind, so on this slide, we're just gonna do a high level, but I'm gonna outline on this slide in the notes, who's presenting what, so then as we go through the rest of it, I'll have to keep saying you're this and you're that,
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
So this is Fran.
The reason we're saying repaired,
Looking
because in overviews of old documents, there was a parking lot there.
I know.
So that's why we're saying repaired.
And
So that's
Kendra, add the kiosk or the
Signage.
that's in signage, which it's gonna have its
But
own
where is it?
picture.
It's gonna have its own pictures.
Oh, we didn't add it. No, no, no,
Please
to the
have a
list.
is what she's
I
saying.
see what you're saying.
Find it.
Oops, I don't want it there.
Okay, why, a question while you're doing that. Should we, you know how we always get nailed for public outreach? Not doing enough
I
of
think
it?
they just vetoed that whole idea after the last meeting. Did you hear, Jay?
Oh, we did.
But I think that's why it's very important. that you
But
say
I'm
that.
wondering if we should show the sign, maybe I can get a better picture without my husband's truck in the background. And the one I said to you, and say, this sign went up just so that people would know, so they could come to this meeting, because I just don't want someone sitting here saying, well, there's no been public outreach. How did they know that these were the proposed plans? We've only had 18 meetings but
You're saying
should,
just have a
should we
picture
have
of
a
the
picture of
sign.
Text that to us, or did you email?
I think I sent it to you, babe.
Yeah, you
Here
did.
Did I?
it is. Is this it? This image? Yeah, here it is. Okay.
Can you get rid of the truck though, or do you want me to take, I'll go up and take another
No,
one.
I'll crop it.
Okay,
Same I would just say, yeah, you could.
I'm going to add it here. Okay, does that make sense?
So.
perfect.
uh, Is that part of your presentation, Denise?
Well, I'm just gonna say public outreach, they.
Yeah.
We just
I
want
would
to make,
say public outreach, talk about all the different meetings you've had with all the neighbors.
yes.
That you went up and laid out
Oh, that's right.
designs too.
Tess, can you help me figure out what date we had the meeting with the neighborhood? many different times.
Probably in the minutes.
Oh, and we laid out the flags.
Yeah.
Flags.
I think you have a little, I
Pics.
think that should be the slide, Denise. You talk about all those.
Yeah, all those
details.
things while Mike.
In
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
picture, when that picture's up, so Kendra's putting it back, talk about your public outreach, and that's where you have statistics built into this little notes area,
Emails. Yep.
everything you've done.
So we did the flags of the proposed courts.
Would
We
you like
did
to take a
pictures.
picture of us
We
meeting?
did meeting with the neighbors. We did emails with the neighbors.
Yeah.
Select board, multiple select board meetings.
Yeah.
Front porch forum.
Oh, yeah, front porch forum.
Hey,
Yeah.
a whole
I
town
should-
meeting.
I should,
Town meeting. Oh, my God, you're right. Good
Right,
girl.
you've done some multiple select board
Yeah.
Denise, I
Right.
should be able to go back in my emails and
We
try
had
to
to go-
figure
I
out
would
when
have
we
a
met
feeling
with the
it's early.
neighbors.
Oh, great. That'd be
Okay,
super.
yeah.
And
I
could you
think-
also?
Yep.
When we put the flags down?
Yep.
That would be great. I appreciate that.
Right before this, though.
The whole list.
I think you do, but your public outreach before the whole list, because then they are aware that your public outreach developed this list that you're gonna go into. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But that was.
You're also gonna have just talked in the previous slide.
Yep.
I think that's
Oh,
perfect.
Denise has no trouble talking.
I have no trouble talking.
Well, I
It
think
just is a
tells-
little
had to
smoother
when-
if you're not just like.
But I think it tells the
Oh,
story.
I see.
Yeah.
Especially with the mic and the, you know, the transcript.
Because then they're gonna go, you're gonna present a list and go, well, how do we know that that's the right list? Because we did all this stuff
Committee.
first.
I'll build that one out. So then for these, we'll say these three slides, the list and the images in the two different views. We'll be talking about each of our individual pieces as they're seen in here. I assume how we're gonna do it is that I'm gonna run the slides. I think I'm gonna get on and share, and then I can jump between.
What do you mean
this
get
image-
on?
I have to sign on my
No, but
laptop.
you're gonna give up your, but you're gonna be here.
Like this, like this.
No. Don't you even think about
That's what
it.
she's doing right now.
Set up so he'll share.
I had a nightmare that she couldn't be here. Josh will run it. No, he won't.
So then I can jump because this image and this image show the same thing, but they're in different views and it may end up making more
Right.
sense that way. So just to clarify. And then, so as an overall, there's not somebody presenting each of these slides. It sort of starts out with these are the all of the items we're going to be talking about when we look at the image. And so I think Denise, you'll just say, here's all the proposed projects that you're going to now see on our plans. And then we move to the
Details.
plans.
There
And
you
then
go.
we go through it in this order that we just outlined, so everyone will know in their own little notes
Mhm.
when you
So we'll
come up.
be
and-
looking at the diagrams, but taking turns
Right.
speaking about those
In that order,
things.
yeah, that we just went through,
So
so,
you have to give us
Tess,
that,
Fran.
you have to
yeah,
give
Yeah,
you'll
us
she's
have all of
gonna-
this.
Yeah,
all of
but
this
can we
stuff.
have it so we can like, yeah,
Yes,
Print it, write your own notes. do all that stuff.
exactly.
yes. What was the other thing? But we had to circle back though to the concept of these two benches that are now floating benches.
So let's just keep those floating benches in there. Cause you know, what we could always
Move
put
them
them,
somewhere else,
move them some, we could move them over by the softball
because it's what?
for spectators. Or we could, if we get Pete to do the parking lot, we can send more money to
Like a
Volunteers Green.
$1,000,
Hey, at the
$1,200.
end of the parking lot, is there still, is that also something that was gonna block off people from
Yeah, yeah,
driving
yeah.
into? So that is part of
There's
the
a
parking
picture
lot.
of it.
Okay,
Well, this is one I found at
Okay.
Campbell's Hump and I thought it was inexpensive. You know what I'm talking about? The wood post on the top of John Lynn's drawing.
Oh, yeah, we didn't include that on this. This year was what we're talking about.
Yeah, right there, that one.
You can't see Kendra, there's your things on top of it on the big screen, just to let you know.
With a little plastic chain link fence.
That's to keep people from doing what?
Just so a boundary where people know they can't go out of.
don't drive over the.
But we'll only
pickleball
have to
courts.
probably do it on three
wheelies on it.
sides because the other boundary will be the wood line. But we're gonna make it temporary so that if there was emergency vehicles or big trucks that had to get in there, because there's a water and sewer pipe all the way down by the pickleball courts that they have to access.
Nice job, Kendra.
So good.
Okay.
So now, like if, say I'm talking about the amenities, you can just do your little arrow right here, right here. Okay.
I'm gonna copy
one-
these.
She's gonna do her little cursor.
wanna
She's
make
gonna be
sure-
drawing
Yeah,
circles
yeah,
around.
Yeah.
to the notes here. So then Denise is talking about, this is the parking lot. Everybody
Perfect.
good with all that? As it sits, then Jeannie will talk about this,
Mhm,
talk about that this is gonna look differently though, because it's gonna have that one bench out.
mhm.
And when you're talking about the parking lot, you'll be talking about Pete in that section too.
Should I do, yeah, I could. Well, should I do it then or after? Because there's not gonna be
I
any
think-
prices on this
Yeah, I
yet.
think we wait.
think we
till you look
wait
at
and
the
Okay,
explain
that's
it.
what, yeah, okay,
If somebody asks a question, then say, yes, I do, you know,
okay.
they could chime in at any point and then we kind of feel,
Yeah.
I-
I think they'll hold their questions till after the presentation, I hope.
Well, you can ask that,
Yeah,
You can ask, or
so it doesn't break your
yeah,
rhythm.
momentum.
there's gonna be, aren't there 4 at the softball fields? 2
for
for
the
each
softball,
team?
yep.
You got for both. Oh, I get you, both at the softball fields and other areas of the park, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Never mind.
And then this is gonna be your signage page that I'm gonna put up.
Yep.
Tess's and so then I would say, Jeannie, you talk about yours,
Yeah.
the welcome sign, and then I'll read
Mhm.
these.
I'll go take a picture of that dogs on leash sign. Too.
Oh, you could
just
send me a
say,
third one
we're
too,
gonna-
yeah.
I mean, they're all.
Well, that's a great
around.
idea.
So I'll put those here and then Tess will talk about the pickleball signage briefly, just saying that this is one that's standard.
Should
right,
we
that you have on here.
include no overnight parking
Well,
or
I
camping?
think in the, wasn't that like that welcome? If
Welcome
that's
would
like
have
the
that stuff.
kiosk
Oh, that's right, the
that we
kiosk would have
like
that,
some of
yeah.
the rules right in.
The rules
like-
and
That's what you could
regulations.
mention is in
That's
ours,
right.
we could customize
Yeah,
it to the rules
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
changeable.
Don't get into that discussion.
Yeah, the parking lot signs.
Parking advisory committee and the no overnight parking stuff.
Oh, no, we've already been there twice.
No, we're just
They're-
saying that we.
They're
can
so
post
golden
the-
with us. They love us.
Okay, so then then we get into costing and this is, so how we proposed it was that we are gonna do the Browns Court costing plans. We weren't gonna do this, we got those questions answered, and this is where I'm gonna have it be. If we have a contract, you know, one of these quotes, do the parking versus if Pete does it.
Mhm.
I'm going to draft this slide up and send it to you all.
parking one?
Specifically the
The whole
costing.
Costing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're gonna send everything.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
want specific like, if you have to focus on something, focus on that you're in
Yeah.
agreement with how the costing is presented,
Mhm.
if nothing else. Because it has to say Pete versus quotes. It has to say something about the bocce as a potential future project.
Mhm.
But it's
And
gonna be
you're
presented
gonna
like-
talk about all of that, Kendra, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's gonna look. like
At
the
least,
Browns
I mean, no, I'm
She's
happy
gonna do
to,
all the
if you don't want me
financial.
to, if you want somebody else to,
No.
I'm
I-
perfectly,
no,
I
no.
don't mean to say yes, as in like, I've made the decision,
You go for
that that's
it.
what I'm doing.
Have at it.
I think you'd like to do that, right, Megan?
Numbers and I
Yes.
do not mix.
You saw that, I was $100,000 off of adding something here.
Then, okay, so that's,
But when you guys get it, when she sends everything to us, can you please just go through it with compare all your notes, all your quotes, go through it with a fine tooth comb, so there's no hiccups on Monday night
Or typos.
or typos. I mean, there won't be any typos. She's great, but just go through it with a fine tooth comb, just to make sure.
Okay, so then the next slide is the ones that we considered.
So now, okay, never mind, I'm gonna let you finish. That's where
No.
bocce goes then, right?
I think so. That's what I was gonna confirm is
Okay.
that people feel comfortable for now I'll put it potentially as the first one.
I think I personally would like to see it as possibly phase 2. And then
But
put
it could
these,
still go here and say, if there's,
For the safe space.
right,
yeah, just for. That's the one we still want. The other ones we've eliminated.
Right.
If that's basic,
So what if we did it something like?
I put your other stuff down below though, that.
Yeah, that's
doesn't know.
just. Next.
Opted
Voted.
not, opted out,
yeah, I voted against.
yeah.
I would just say voted against,
Yeah.
period.
Put in there those cushions on the players' benches.
That was
Um,
funny.
I don't like.
Could you, not, you don't have to do it right now, but could you put also the other items under bocce court that were deleted, the other 3 items?
You mean?
Bocce court and maintenance material.
Yeah,
Right, 'cause they
those
were
4 items.
And fountain.
Nope.
top layer, it
Oh,
was just a
yeah.
separate top layer balls.
It's good catch already. The pretty
Water
fountain,
fountain.
the pretty fountain. The
You wanna put it as
winterized.
a potential future phase or?
No, voted against.
Okay.
Bocce ball, isn't it? When you
So
play it?
bocce ball's
When you
3,
bowl,
but the
it's
water
ball.
fountain.
Yeah.
It's really,
It's bocce is the game.
yeah, here's a point just to make, because I was thinking about this and I just clarified it with text. When we're talking about bocce, it's not bocce ball. It's like when you're
Mhm.
bowling, and then you use a bowling ball. So it's not, the game isn't
Watch for
bocce
that.
ball, the game is just bocce.
Right.
It's
The
the
game is just-
Italian word. So,
Mhm.
so just some people
Bocce.
could, yeah,
I don't know how to put this one.
That's all right. That's
bocce
fine.
court uses bocce balls.
Underline them, maybe
I just don't like it.
just underline your, yeah,
Or bold it.
or yeah, or that. That's
She
good.
got it.
Italicize it, yeah, just looks weird.
Bocce court and all amenities that go with bocce
Yeah,
court.
and
or-
Or she was gonna put the other 3 little items
Well,
under.
it's really just the top coat of it and the balls. Those are the
It's
3
kinda weird to
items.
do it
So
that
I don't
way.
know.
I think it
Okay.
just, yeah,
It kind of sounded, I don't
Or
know,
as an accessories or
I'd leave it
whatever.
like that.
bocce court.
That's fine.
Then we don't need this slide anymore because we put it there. And then this becomes the total costing, the sum total of the 2. And then
But you're gonna make them individual.
they're gonna be like the totals of what
Uh,
this total plus
Right,
the other total
correct.
equals the total we're proposing
Right, but
today.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna do 2 different quote. I would recommend 2 different quotes.
Two different
Just to-
motions.
2 different motions to keep it clean.
Well, right, I agree, but it's purely for them to be able to see the total we're talking about.
Oh,
here.
totally.
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 Can
Yes.
Teach your voice.
pickle, pickleball, one word.
Oh, learn something new.
Let's go look. All over the place.
You had it twice there, you want to just fix it and then copy it down? Get it in the 4th one down. 5th one down, sorry.
Where do you want to talk about how we would like to see things done? You know how we would like the pickleball courts, the fields to go on, pickleball courts and the parking lot last? Or do we even mention that?
Is that a clerk of the works?
Yeah.
Question though, so who's presenting this slide?
So how about if you and I do bocce court? Because that may get controversial.
Mhm.
How about you and I do bocce together? Multi-use tests,
I
tennis
can,
courts tests,
I can do,
All 3,
All-
3, and then the water.
and then
fountains
water
back to you.
fountain. The only thing I wanted. No, I'm kidding. And I'll do, so you'll do
Okay,
all
put
3 of
that-
those?
Put the water fountain up in
Yeah.
But why do we have to,
future phases, just
who's
in
doing all
case.
3?
No.
Tess
Mm.
is doing
the
multi-use.
multi-use, the tennis and the pickleball court cover.
And will you actually, when we're talking about that, be able to put it up there to show them
What?
the water fountain?
If we're not gonna have it, why do we? need
Yeah,
to
why
show
do
it
we
to them?
care? That's,
I
it said that it's
I
in-
can put it over there on the side. You can see it.
Perfect.
I'll just do a little screenshot of it. Maybe that'll make the slide look less weird.
Oh, yeah, it's got some design on it.
There you go.
Gotta put a little, set of bocce balls on the other side there.
She can put the bocce course on. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Someone sitting in the wheelchair using the bocce ball.
And then back to Denise. Water fountain. Okay. Then this will be where it comes to the total. I'll just create the totals and then, so I'll just mention that. And then we'll have the potential wording for the two proposals here,
The two motions.
two motions.
Two motions.
Yep, all
Okay.
proposed.
Yeah.
Motion.
And I think that should be its own slide.
Each.
That is
What do you
right
mean?
here, right?
I don't know. if the-
I'm not putting the proposed wording on this slide. I'm going to provide it to them.
Okay.
Right? You-
Okay.
It's something that you have to pass by Josh and he would say that would be an acceptable motion for the
Mhm.
select board. So it's
I
almost
wouldn't put
like
it on
he
here.
has to draft it for you and he.
I mean, he doesn't even have to because they all the time they come up with motions.
They, if you watch, they have 90% of their motions are
Okay.
drafted for them and are
Okay.
in their packet. For them to consider the wording and if they agree with the wording.
So I don't think we need to worry about drafting it then. We'll just
Mhm.
have him do it, but with our numbers. et cetera. Each, showing. the
Well, wait, he's
total.
not due back till Monday.
It'll be fine. He doesn't, this is not that complicated. It's gonna be the numbers right out front, like.
No, you're missing my point. If the packet goes out, who's putting the packet out to the select board is my question to you.
We've decided that we're going to give it to him that night.
Okay.
Printed.
We're going to give it to him that night, printed.
Which is gonna
We decided that last
be
meeting.
the following motion showing this one we spent. on these two
Element of surprise.
I'll draft a motion and send it to you just for backup,
These two parts.
based on existing select board motion.
the amount.
Do we want to actually list that amount?
Yeah, it's gonna be something like this, Brown Church plus bocce, subtotal 550. Volunteers green remaining.
Perfect. I would spell it out for them.
Yeah, this
Oh.
is just,
I know.
this is just a notes.
Just the notes for you. You're
And
You're
then
handy.
we had a slide that we wanted to talk about both parks maintenance budget, but I don't know that we have anything per se to present on this because most of it is all the things that they should have already been doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
The
here,
only thing that we have, I correct myself, is the pickleball maintenance.
And the monuments.
That's
Oh,
already
that should
talked
have been-
about,
it should have
and the
been doing.
volunteer screen, we already mentioned that monument.
Right,
The
right.
maintenance of not volunteer, of Brown Church. So we're just talking about maintenance of Brown Court, and that's just a pickleball number. And all the rest of stuff they should have been doing.
And they have talked about it in multiple select board meetings. If you have a list of known maintenance items that are for existing things that they've never had research, but you have the information on, they would love you for that and would want that as part of this presentation. So like the 750 for moving forward, here's all the maintenance items that you should be doing and putting into your budget. And here's the additional new items, which is your pickleball and anything else that you guys have done, the spigot or I don't know, parking lot. But I'm just saying, they are looking for that and they've talked about that in multiple select board meetings when you weren't present. So
Kendra, can I get back to you? Because it's going to take me a while. Can I just email you?
Mhm.
I think what we put in was something like, I think we put in something like 2,000
2,000,
a year.
because you said.
With the idea it was.
Court
be
resurfacing.
over 5 to-
14,000 every 7 is
Yeah.
the number.
5 to 7.
At that one board meeting, I wrote right here, Lisa's specific questions, about the maintenance cost. What kind of system do we have to use for the equipment? I'm not sure.
That
we
doesn't-
need to do that.
Pertain to this one.
Scheduling, who's gonna be doing the scheduling? She wondered who the contact person and who's gonna be in charge. So I think we should
I
mention that there was like drafting of words, or there's been discussion with the rec committee, and still Mark Fossil was gonna work on drafting what a job description would be of a recreation
Part-time
committee
rec.
person, but it could be a volunteer position, but that we've been we thought through this and somebody would meet with you, select board, if you'd like to.
If that, when that question comes up and specifically, I'm sure Lisa
Uh-huh.
will ask it, will you say what you just said?
Mhm.
Awesome.
Were those questions pertaining to just the pickleball, or was it when we
I-
were
the
talking
whole
about
project.
We were here
multi-use?
at this meeting and she goes,
Multi-use.
well, I haven't heard about this and I haven't heard about this and I haven't heard about this. And we said, because we haven't presented to you yet.
It
And
was-
so I just wanted to make sure, that, you know, these were some of the questions, and I didn't even know when she said who's in charge, I didn't know if she meant a project manager, clerk of the works, or she was talking just about the court use. I don't know really what.
She was, can I expand on what she was talking about? She was talking about like equipment, so she didn't pickleball, you bring your own balls and your own paddles, so you need to make sure she understands that. Softball, you bring your own equipment, and so it really comes down to the court time and the court use. And that's a to be determined management style of that, just like the fields are, right?
Mhm.
Are reserved, just like the.
You call the town clerk when you want to reserve the
reserve
band shell.
room, yeah, those kinds of things, so it can be the same process, so just a heads up, that's what
Tess,
Lisa was
do
talking
you
about.
know of any program out there? Or does any other towns use program where they can like go on a website and reserve their time?
Okay, there is something called Playtime Scheduler,
Yeah,
but it is not a reservation. It's more so that if I wanted to play pickleball, I might say, looking for
yeah, one
somebody,
player.
a 2.5 player, and then people sign up for it.
Gotcha.
But it's not a reservation system. And I
Okay.
think in my signage, I put in something to the effect, if other people are waiting for the court, limit your time to one hour.
Oh, good.
And do I mention the maintenance on the monuments or?
Yep.
I
Yes,
do, okay.
On that slide where they.
on your old round church slide.
So you guys are gonna nail it. You can answer this question.
I have mixed feelings about the Playtime Scheduler, but there's no
Yeah.
way of
Okay.
stopping it.
Well, how do you do it now with the towns?
Pardon?
How do you do it now with the towns?
Well,
Do you just all show up?
Because it's the senior center, we
Yeah,
announce it like on our weekly calendar.
okay, gotcha.
But, you know, like that one beautiful day we had in February, Dave
Yeah.
Cousins wrote a letter and said, we could play pickleball in the afternoon.
Yeah.
17 of us showed up.
Oh, my God.
And this was like the evening before.
Like Essex courts, all the other Williston courts, they have set times, okay, everybody show up at this time, if you wanna play, you can
Do it.
jump in, you can rotate in, you can do that kind of stuff, so.
Yeah.
And then other times the courts are just open, whoever shows up can play, and
Yeah.
you don't reserve them.
I played at Airport Park last Friday. There were 36 people there.
See, and that's good information to let them know that,
Today there were
and
only-
everybody's
today there were
reasonable
24.
and it's very reasonable.
Well,
People are,
it was very reasonable.
I mean,
There was
but-
a couple
but they
people
ha-
left with black eyes.
but they
Is
have-
that what you mean?
Airport,
Yeah. I told you I'm playing now, no.
Airport's kind of unique that they have their 4 pickleball courts. Then they have 2 tennis courts, but those 2 tennis courts are also marked for
Pickleball.
And how often do you see those tennis courts used at all?
Yeah.
I've never seen them used when I've been there.
In fairness, though, somebody did tell me at airport that on the weekends that there are people
Playing
playing.
tennis.
I tend to play early morning, so I don't know if that's a,
Don't we all like to?
yeah.
Not afternoon tea.
I'm not putting stress on you, really, I'm not.
Well, while she's doing that, when I just said, you know, talking about Mark Fossil had volunteered to do a job description for a rec director or
Mhm.
rec something, and he was gonna meet with Fran. I wonder if that ever happened, and I
No,
could try
and-
to follow through.
And you know what I would do? I would not even get into those weeds unless
No, I'm
somebody
just
asks
wondering
you a
now
question.
Separately, I'm not even.
I don't know if they ever met.
I wouldn't recommend any discussion of any
No.
staffers fired.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm not talking about for that. I mean, I just wondered if I should see if Mark has ever done anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
just to kind of, so that if, when we.
But
get
he
to that
couldn't
point-
though, because he's only a committee member of one. Could he?
He was gonna write a description with Fran.
I see.
I don't know
Gotcha.
if they ever did.
Then the other thing I thought I would call and find out if that playground inspection ever got done,
Oh, good.
just because.
I
we
don't
asked
think it
that-
did.
we
I
asked
honestly
that
don't
last
think it
time.
did. And that may be a question that comes up too.
Yeah. So I'll check
Those
on that.
would all be good to know.
And this is another question that someone
So
asked me.
Can I interrupt you just
Mhm.
for a sec?
Yeah.
Could you have the latest inspection in your hands in case any questions come up?
Yeah,
And then just the date that the Recreation Committee asked that it be inspected one more time?
and maybe it's here. That's what
I would email if you could, Josh,
yeah.
and
that's what I
ask
mean.
him,
I would
just so that
ask-
you have all those questions done.
Who did it? Who does this? Was it VLCT that was doing it?
It's a division of VLCT.
But we're not talking about a playground at this one, so we may not even be touching
Right.
that. I was just more. This
Yeah,
was-
but
this
you
was
never know what questions are
This
gonna
is
come
what she
up.
was typing. And here's one question that two people have asked me. Have you considered the path, putting the path at Brown's Court?
And I
So
would
if
answer,
anybody says we haven't.
so I would answer, we have received one email from Wooliver,
Melissa.
Melissa Wooliver, and she and her husband asked that the path be 10 feet wide so that they continue walking around.
Mhm.
I personally don't think it needs to be 10 foot wide, but there's 10 feet there.
Yeah.
So we've kept that much boundary, even though we only had to do 5 feet from the property line. We've done more than that. We've done probably 15, 20 feet from property lines.
But my question is, people have asked, instead of putting the paved path, walking path at Volunteers Green, have we considered putting that at Brown's Court for people to use?
No,
Can I
God,
just say
I'd
we
say
haven't,
there's
we're
not
not
enough,
there yet.
we haven't,
Yeah.
and I don't think there's enough room.
Yeah.
Especially,
And my
just
request. is
Telling you that
Volunteers
people are
Green.
gonna ask.
yeah,
My father wants
I've
to
had
watch his
people
great
ask.
grandchildren at Volunteers Green, play soccer and baseball and be on the playground. Push for the big path at Volunteers Green.
Well,
You can see more things going on and you're more part of a community down there.
when we get to Volunteers Green, that's gonna be a big discussion.
it is gonna be a big discussion.
Something like this.
I think I'd flip them. What they have existing maintenance for to start with, and then the new. That's my opinion.
I would leave it there because as we continue on, I mean, that's like the new proposed.
Mhm.
I like it like that. Continue to miss on existing items. But
Mm-hmm.
what kind of parking, I mean, what maintenance would there be on a parking lot?
They'll have to re-put it back
New
in where it
gravel
belongs.
and
after.
Potholes.
They're not, we talked to Pete. He is not gonna pave it.
No, grading
no.
it.
Grading
Potholes.
it when you, after it winters,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to.
it is, but that was
if
a
any
big
gravel
question a
got
lot of
plowed
people
into-
had.
An extra load of gravel every
Yeah.
now and then and.
Right.
Sort of thing.
You know, if they plow any part of it, then it pushes all the gravel into the grass and you have to use the little brush thing. and-
Right, oh yeah, and then,
Like your driveway.
Well, and isn't under continued maintenance mowing?
Well, that's a
no,
given. I
That's
think
a-
the
yeah.
things that are given, we don't have to.
The things that they're
Okay.
not currently doing that we want to make sure they're
It
doing.
was recently mowed because it looked very nice
oh,
today.
you know what you don't have in there though?
What?
Do you have it, you may have it, I might have missed it, trees.
Yep,
Mhm.
that's in there.
Mhm.
That's in there, okay, good. Where am I?
Trees should
water
be evaluated
spigot.
every 3 years. I did the last one.
Gee,
Winterized?
No,
No, it doesn't need to be.
No.
Spigot itself.
no,
It's fine all winter.
I think
I think
Let's
that was
put
your water
question
fountain
mark.
was fine.
water fountain was what needed to be winterized. No, it did
No,
not need to be
That's what I'm
winterized.
saying. I think your water
Okay,
spigot is-
okay, just question mark.
Yeah, put a question mark behind it. We don't know that. Somebody has to figure that out.
Other than that, that was the list of projects.
Are we consistent with the trees every 3 years at All Around Church? We are, okay.
Now, Old Round Church, we don't do a slide. We just do it talking about it on the costing.
Oh, yeah.
So what,
Well, I think that Fran had mentioned that every 3 years in all three parks, that
should do it
the
together,
tree
yeah.
warden should be doing that inspection, but there still should be
In
somebody
conjunction with
taking a look at them every
the tree
year to
warden.
see if anything else.
Going back to your maintenance slide, Kendra. They want your continued maintenance on existing items. They want dollar amounts is what they might come up. I'm just gonna say they might. come
Well,
back
they'll
with that.
have the dollar amounts on theirs.
No, on this, no. The maintenance of, she's talking about like
Existing?
parking lot and
That
softball
they should have
fields.
had in their budgets that they haven't been. They're gonna say, well, how much is it gonna cost to?
Then you
Well,
have
we've
to
got
say,
it there under pickleball.
you'd have
Yeah,
to
see,
say,
why do
we
we
have
have
the
to?
new maintenance ones.
Yeah,
The
we have,
old maintenance ones, the parking lot, they would consult with their road foreman to say, what are you gonna wanna do with this
Right.
after a year?
and
For the
they,
softball field, they turn to Josh and
they'd
say,
go to
what should we
Josh.
have done every year?
and Fran, they'll go to Caitlin. I mean, and trees, they'll go to Caitlin.
So,
And now they know.
so should this not be after we do this should be after we do costing. Do costing, maintenance, things we didn't do, and then the totals.
Thank you. Totals and thank you at the
Mhm.
last slide. Totals and then thank you.
I'll wait till after. Thank you after the
Vote.
motions.
Is that a better order? Do people agree?
Yeah.
Costing, maintenance, things we didn't propose,
And then just a complete,
some total.
closing.
Right, this is where
closing.
you would then have them vote because they'd see the numbers right there and
But I think you just touched back just a little bit on your closing, that you did a lot of public outreach to come up with this plan. That ties the beginning back in and sell it.
So on the closing, should we talk about how many emails have gone forward? How many meetings?
I thought you were gonna talk about that at the beginning.
Oh, I
Said that
am.
At the beginning,
I am.
just to say.
Of, under the public outreach?
I don't think you have to repeat the numbers. I just think you have to really drive home that you did it.
We did our homework.
Many, many nights worth.
So Jeannie's gonna just, let's see. Who's gonna discuss the different pieces? Pickleball is all. Task
Tasks.
organization, and then continued maintenance. Denise, do you want to talk about continued maintenance?
Sure. When some car goes through,
Well, I think you just like you just tied it back though, verbally saying, you know, you for road foreman would be giving you this number, Josh would be giving this number, and this is your tree warden would help you establish a maintenance budget for your trees if you don't already have one, which is not your.
Mhm.
I mean,
now will
talk
the
about
little
it.
notes that you typed in come out on the copies you send us?
Well, I'm gonna send you this electronically and then yes. But
Thank
when
you.
you print it, you would have to
No.
print it as with your notes.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm not gonna print it as such for the select. board.
Good.
Okay, show me how you print it with notes. Will you just go to print?
File,
It will give you that option.
Print, and then see it says this little one right
Notes
here.
pages.
And you,
Got
it'll
it.
be saying full slides before and you can say notes pages and that'll be
Gotcha.
one slide and the notes.
Yep.
So you have to check both.
No,
Print all slides, note pages. So note
We
pages.
want to print the ones with.
how it'll show
Oh,
up here
oh,
when
oh,
you first
gotcha.
get in here,
Okay,
it'll be
good.
this full, and then you just select the other
Okay.
option,
Perfect.
which is with notes pages.
And who wants to print me one off? Because my printer died.
Died.
I can drop one off
Thank you.
for you.
Died.
Who's printing for the select board?
If you, let's see.
You could send it to the town and have them print them all.
We didn't want to pass them out ahead of time.
Linda would keep them confidential,
And we need how many?
don't you think? 6.
Well, Linda will look at them herself.
fine, but-
Because she's printing them.
She's not gonna do anything.
No, but just ask her to, in the email when you send it to her. ask
Yeah,
her if
just
she's
say keep them
printing.
confidential and we'll pick them up at the meeting or
Well,
give them to Josh. Josh can see them beforehand.
I just don't know if you'd had time to print
You
them
might
for you,
put
so
them in
that's
the
why I
packet.
say. might be
That's fine
crazy.
because they get their packet when they walk in the door. It's at their spaces.
So that means
So-
you're doing that?
6 on the
Or-
select board, including that.
5 on the
includes
select
Josh?
board with Josh,
Okay.
6.
Okay. Anything else? What day are we on? Tuesday?
Thank you guys. You've done an
Do we need a
excellent job.
motion for adjournment?
Can we first
Oh, I'm so
make sure
sorry.
we all are essentially in agreement with this as our plan, not finalized slides, but just if anybody has any
Think it looks
qualms,
amazing.
things that they don't like, please address them now and while we're all in a group.
I think it looks great.
I have just a couple, it's
Oh, okay.
probably a stupid question. The person that I've been contacting with for the bocce courts,
Mhm.
what do I tell him? Because I don't want.
I don't
Don't
think you
do
say anything.
anything until after June 3rd.
Well, and I wouldn't do anything then either. We're
Right,
putting this
because-
as a second phase. We have it presented as a second phase. We don't need to tell them we're not doing it. We
Yeah.
haven't decided. We've just decided these are the ones we're right now going forward with until we know that we're for sure not and saying we're not doing that. I don't think it,
Okay, no, I haven't gotten a quote from the other company.
I think
Should
you
I
leave it for
pursue
now.
getting that?
No.
or- No,
If
okay.
they,
If it's bocce, just
Tom's
hang
hold
on.
to
Yeah.
it, but
But if he contacts me.
right.
Yep,
then
just
go
have him
ahead and
send
take
it.
yeah.
Yep, okay.
A lot of projects do different phases.
Okay.
So 7
Now, will
o'clock
that screen
Monday.
be turned around?
What do you mean?
That last picture you just had, it was a picture of the shielding we're gonna put around the handicap bathroom,
Oh, I didn't put that one in.
but it was upside down. Oh, you
That
didn't
was
put it
how-
in?
No, that was just how
We're
it
not-
was in, John's. That was just his one.
Oh, that was John's. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, we didn't put that in.
Awesome. And I'm a visual learner too, so I apologize, but I may have more
there's a-
corrections or whatever when I see it on paper
and that's my
compared
question.
to what it is.
Sorry.
Okay.
I can't, I'm so bad at that. So the porta potties are just already there as a given.
As a given, and they're already paid for by the town.
Okay, so.
Yep. They had that, and I don't
Take a screenshot
understand.
of that, Kendra, to put under how many meetings we had.
Exactly,
Oh,
9:30.
Fran's not sitting here though.
That's right, France, I hear.
Could you just add her in?
So,
Copy and paste.
did you stay for the whole meeting? They had the porta potty on the agenda for Brown's Court.
They didn't, they knocked about 6 items off the agenda and are moving it to the next select board meeting.
I can't imagine what they'd be talking about.
Moving it probably, but they don't
Brown
like
or
the
green?
location.
Could be,
I'm
could
tired
be
of
just
this.
a contract with it or not and stuff like that, but
It could have been.
they moved about 6 items to the next select board meeting, but they also have another big meeting that night too. They have you and then they have another big discussion. That night on the agenda that they moved to the 3rd.
Okay, when I talk about pickleball,
Mhm.
okay, should I? be
In your
men-
teacher's voice.
In my teacher's voice. Should I be mentioning why we chose pickleball over tennis?
Oh, absolutely. Have a little verbiage, and you could probably just Google it about,
Well, are
the
you gonna talk
fastest
about that
growing.
later?
She's got it all.
Are you gonna talk about that later when we talk about things we didn't want to do?
Well, yeah.
No, pickleball.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, you could mention why you chose this over this. Yeah.
I would mention it down in that slide or else you're gonna get to that slide and be like, I already talked about this.
Yeah. And then, I would also have handy the number of people that play pickleball.
Yeah.
Locally.
One thing,
And how it is, you mentioned once about what percentage of younger people are
Yeah.
playing now, like how the 20-year-olds, how that's a.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've got some of that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you've got all that.
Yeah.
And I would just do
One-
bullet.
yeah, one thing I feel that I want to stress, it's that it's not just for the seniors. I
Mhm.
want to point out
Yeah,
where we play, how often we
Yeah.
play.
good.
Yeah.
I don't see their full agenda. posted
So
yet.
7 o'clock on Monday night.
7 o'clock on Monday night. The agenda will officially be posted on Friday.
Yes.
Friday. I will send it to all of you, so you can just link it up. But if you go to the town of Richmond, you'll see it there as well.
Always posted on front porch.
Yeah, I
Forum,
was gonna say
too.
he
Yeah,
always
and
posts
they
it.
get it there later. But I am gonna call, with your approval, I'm gonna call Josh just to say, Josh, just double checking, we're on for 7. We'll be there with bells on, and we're keeping it confidential until the meeting, our presentation. All right, now can I have a motion for adjournment?
Yes,
You
I
should.
motion.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you, everyone.